Hello, guys, and welcome to the SA DPC, the last DPC game of the day. We are back with Division 1. It's Infamous versus Hokori on this wonderful matchup for the week. To be the match that's going to be starting us out, and a really important match for especially Hokori, who desperately needs this win against Infamous after not doing so hot in their first week. My name is Alpha Plus. I'm joined here by Hokori's ex-coach, Astini, and by a wonderful 5-player by the name of Duster. How are you doing, guys?
Hello, doing super well and super excited for today. Because even though you mentioned that Hokori, they didn't do well at the first series, it was against Thunder Predator, and I think they showed good Dota.
I agree.
And on the other hand, we have Infamous, which won against Infinity. They played well, but those were close games. It was 2-1. So I really think like we have a match here that can go to the third game. Any team can win. So pretty excited.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Infinity played a really solid game against Infamous as well, both them, and Hokori. I was actually doing analysis of the replays for Hokori versus Thunder, and especially the first game, which I know you were on the panel there for, Duster, was really impressive by Hokori. I thought their team fighting in general was incredible. Do you remember that game, Duster, the Bloodseeker game?
Yeah. Hokori fights pretty well, that's for sure. Playing against arguably the best team in the league, probably.
Yeah, up there with Beast Coast.
I remember they were countered by the saves from Pandabu, but they still managed to win some fights, get kills. I thought Acel didn't have the greatest silencer game. We're even joking that maybe it was better for him to just stay at the fountain and press his ultimate.
Yeah, Gardic was struggling with that. Also, in that game, I also remember, and there's something I want to mention, and see if Duster, if you agree. It was Analog Zeus, if you recall, did not build the Ags that game, which in hindsight, that build looked pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching the replay, and it's like that build did not look very convincing to me. I know you commented on it in the post game as well.
Needed X. I don't see Zeus working nowadays without X. I mean, X is so good. My dog's named Nimbus. How good this X is. No jokes.
Does that come from Dota, or does that come from your meteorology class?
Both.
Oh, nice.
The Dota has a huge weight on it.
But yes, we're going to see what Hokori does, because until now, where they've excelled has been more with their unique drafts. RDO was telling us a bit that he liked Yuma particularly because he was a very versatile carry. You worked with them, Hokori, sorry. You worked with him, Astini. What did you agree with that statement? Do you think Yuma's strength is his versatility as a carry?
Yeah, like the guy, I don't know how he plays that much Dota 2. Like, because if you go to his profile, he's like 26 with Meepo, which is not a hard carry. Like, it's a mid laner, but he's like, oh, but let's try as a carry. Like, he plays a lot of, like, Magnus carry, and then he plays all the other carries. Like, he's gonna be, I don't know, 18 Phantom Lancer, 18 Bloodseeker, like, any hero, he's like 18 plus on Dota plus, which means, like, he has spammed the hero, and basically, like, usually you spend 2 or 3 heroes, he spent 20 heroes. I just don't know how.
Can I ask you if he does this by, like, streaks? Do you know? Like, does he spam one hero that he thinks is strong and then switches to another one? Or does he just play whatever he wants every game?
I guess he plays whatever he wants, but there are times that he feels super comfortable with one hero, and then he's gonna play a lot. Like, let's say the Magnus carry. He was doing really good with the hero when he was playing for those NA stacks. And then he tried with us once or twice. He saw it didn't work and kind of gave up. So, kind of meta dependent, yeah.
Okay. And now we see the starting picks, guys, is Tidehunter plus Shadow Shaman and Hokori, and then Infamous, we see the TA plus Grimstroke. I'm going to start with you, Astini, the master of all regions. We see the Shadow Shaman being picked a fair amount in other regions, particularly in Western Europe, where they're seeing a lot of strength to the hero, but not much in SA. Are you a fan of the hero currently? Do you think he's quite strong?
I'm not a big fan because it had bad win rate when I looked at it. It feels strong, but...
Thank you.
But yeah, seriously, because then I was thinking, like, usually when you take Shadow Shaman, you're like, can Lion do better? And then you have, like, on top that you have the siege damage. But the thing is, like, what I feel is the meta has changed to a faster pace with the shards at 15-minute mark. So Shadow Shaman, he is now better than Lion. But I still don't think like both of the heroes are still not on the best spot because they're just like broken heroes, and you want to go with the broken heroes. Like let's say you can play Ink 4, which gives you the siege damage. Of course, doesn't give you the control that Shadow Shaman gives to you, but you have Ravage, so you have massive stun, you have lots of team fight, and you can just get a hero that's gonna help you snowball even better. You're not gonna be on another huge cooldown as the Tide Hunter.
Do you agree with that assessment, Duster, or do you find the Shadow Shaman to be a strong hero?
I think the hero is pretty strong, but I would prefer him play Radiant, because the change of the Serpent Wards, they do so much more damage to Roche. I'm even seeing on my pubs level 6 Shaman just wanting to smoke and go kill Roche with +1 only.
Yes.
There's even a strat to solo kill or something, so yeah, I think the hero is pretty strong if you can snowball with Roche, so I would prefer to see him on Radiant for sure.
Love that point, though I will make a caveat for those people that do watch a lot of Reddit. That post on Reddit was fake. It's wrong, because they essentially soloed Roche at level, when Roche is at the first minute, with Shaman level 6. And unless you're hacking, you're not going to be Shaman level 6 at minute 0, right? At minute 10, if you're playing with Shaman, soloing Roche is much harder to do. It is possible, but it's not consistent. You depend a little bit on bashes and getting the right shackles and hex. And you probably need a core Shaman for that. But Duster is still right that the Shaman Wards deal a lot more damage to Roche ever since the piercing change, and it is certainly a viable strat close to +1. Which honestly, with Tide, it's possible, even if they're dire, right? There's minus armor, there's Shaman. Roche is a good idea. There's the Undying again. I saw this, I think it was NA that we were casting, I saw this a bunch in. Did not look good at all, to be honest with you, the Undying.
Again, it's a hero that, like, you aim to playing fast, right? Because it's a lane dominator, or supposed to be. Venom, Viper are banned, Snapfire banned also, so like 3 ranged position 3 are banned, which is super great for him, because those are the heroes that make his life difficult. So I can see making sense here, yes.
What do you think of his lane against... Oh, actually, never mind, sorry. I spoke too soon. It's not revealed yet. Go on, sorry.
Like, just a little bit more on that snowball that I feel like even China, they're playing fast-paced. You see a lot of DP, TA, and I guess the meta has changed, but it's weird that like South American teams, they were always the best at like running at people in the map, but they usually do it as 4, while core is getting very, very fat. So like the Bisco style, you have like 4 heroes running all around and actor farming. And I feel like you need 5 heroes playing fast if you want to play fast. So you see like Tundra playing Io Gyro, and like Gyro is playing the entire map getting kills. So I'm very curious to see like if it's a TA carry from Infamous, because it seems like the hero that SA Dota plays best on this fast pace, because the timings are super clear. Like you have Dezo, you go Roche, you have BKB, you go high ground, and then you get a very active hard carry. So I really like to see the TA on Infamous, and I really hope it's a hard carry TA.
It seems like it with the Ogre match now covering it. Is going to settle for the Grimstroke Sanking lane. We've seen a lot of Sanking as well in any regions. A lot of people are putting him as a top offlaner. Would you agree with that, Duster? Do you find this hero very annoying right now?
Yeah, to me, probably the strongest offlaner. He just does so much damage and control. And I really like when you pair him up with Greenstroke. I prefer even more than Mirana, because you can chain stun so well with Wing Swell. And it's easier to do, and it's just so much burst. Green does helps with so much more damage to Sand King. Like one Ink Swell, and you can pretty much solo kill any hero with Epicenter also. I really like this combination.
You later get the double Burrow Strike as well with a Soulbind. There's a lot of combo here, I agree.
But it works, indeed.
Okay, and with this, Infamous also has a relatively fast tempo. You were talking about a bit of a snowball with the Undying Shaman. Do you think Hokori should push the tempo as well? Try to fight the early game as soon as possible?
Yeah, because of their picks, yes. The thing is, like, they cannot fight all the time, but they can have amazing team fights, especially around a 10, 11 minutes mark when they hit level 6 on Shaman. Because they have a lot of good team fight, but on big cooldowns. Infamous, on the other side, they don't rely on any cooldown, of course. It's great to fight with Epicenter. It's great if you have the Greenstroke ulti, so you have double stun. But they can like just run at heroes, and Hokori they can only fight when Ravage is up or Tombstone.
Do you like the tiny pick then with this, or do you think it's a bit slow?
I think it's a bit slow, but the hero is just too good, so you can pick it. Like honestly,
Fair.
if it was like an average hero on the meta, I would say no. But like where the hero stands is just amazing, no matter the game. Like you can see teams picking Tiny to Necrophos or some hard counter, and it still wins games. So it's just too strong.
Yeah, that's a good point. This leads more to what you were talking about, the traditional SA style, right? Where like Tiny's probably going to be farming first 20 minutes, and the rest of Hokori is most likely going to seek fights, right, Astini?
Yeah, but I think they should be like seeking fights by defending towers, which is weird when you have Shadow Shaman, because they can really bait initiations into Tidehunter or Undying,
Right.
and then pick good team fights, because they lack a bit of mobility. But if you are diving then in their towers, they can really protect it. So I would love to see the Tidehunter like holding Ravage as long as possible, because as long as he has Ravage up, you are afraid of taking moves on Infamous side. So you can see like some collapsed Tidehunter games where he's gonna use the first Ravage at 29 minutes at a Roche fight. And I think as long as Hokori try to do the same, they should shut down Infamous space.
Okay. The final picks here for Infamous and Hokori. Infamous most likely lacking a mid laner. What picks would you like to see here, Duster?
Some Astro mobility, something like a Spirit would fit best, I think, to help split push and also keep fighting with a good pace. Can connect with Sand Kingstones.
Would you be okay with the Quap as well, potentially, because that's a very lone pick?
Yeah, also pretty good. There it is.
You see, that's why that's the Duster. You know, I set you up for that one. Hokori immediately answered with the Invoker. There's the Invoker for analog. The picks are finalized, and now I'm going to hear from you, Mr. Coach Astidi. If you were Hokori's drafter here, if you're the coach still, would you be happy with this draft?
Yes, I think if they execute right, they win. If they're patient enough, they win. They're like, even they have Undying Hasa, they're not on the clock. Like the pressure is on Infamous side. Just be patient, you win.
Because of the Tiny, right?
Yeah, Tiny with Alacrity, it's broken. Like I'm surprised that Invoker made so far. I thought even Invoker was good for Infamous side, like just removing Tidehunter mana, buffing TA, reaching times faster. But I like Hokori's draft most.
Okay. Duster, do you side with Astidi? Do you also like Hokori's draft, or do you see something in Infamous?
I'll go with Infamous. I'm a Undying hater. I don't like Hokori's draft. I would hate to play Undying in this situation because, as Tini said, you're not thinking about snowballing, just mostly farming and getting your items. And doing this as Undying means you're only gonna feed and drop some tombstone, break some smokes. You know, you're not gonna be playing Dota actively. So I hate this. I'll go with Infamous.
Okay, as valid reason as any, our panel is divided. Astini going the way of Hokori, supporting his old team. Duster going against Undying, therefore supporting Infamous. We're going to see what awaits us in game number 1 of this series as we go over to our wonderful casting pair. This time we have a new caster joining us. It's going to be Richie SeekNStrike Dota, joined by his cat WinteR.
Yes, indeed. Oh, there he is. Unfortunately, I don't have my cat here. She didn't really want to sit, but I have replaced my cat WinteR with my co-commentator WinteR. Good morning, my friend. How's it going for you?
Good morning, good morning. Haven't had my breakfast, so still hungry.
Well, hopefully you've got a big appetite, because I think we're in for a big series here between Infamous and Hokori as we're now loading into the map. What's your opinions, though, on this Undying hero right now? A while ago, I told you it was free MMR, and then you started playing a bit and ended up agreeing with me. But Alvo and I were casting some Western European Dota, I think even just yesterday, and we saw it basically get dismantled. Where do you think this hero kind of sits? Are you more agreeing with Duster, or do you think it's got a little bit more potential than that?
Nah, I'm an Undying spammer, so I kind of like the hero.
Okay.
I feel like the talent with the minus cooldown on the tombstone plus the shard, it's what enables him to keep fighting. And even though they didn't really like the draft with the Undying because they felt like the Tide plus the Tiny and plus Invoker. Oh, there might be a first bird soon. Our friend Undying.
Yeah, he has taken that first point already. Oscar might have gone a bit too far, in fact, as he's committed the Burrow Strike, and even though that's only a minuscule jump for him, it's a giant leap for Scorpion Kind, one which he will not be able to back himself down from, so that's going to be first blood towards Hokori, despite that looking very poorly for Garde.
Yeah, but then he had to skill Tombstone. Means the lane is not gonna be so good for the Tiny without decay.
It's a good point. Does it make a difference that they know that it's Burrow Strike level 1 and not something like, I don't know, Sandstorm or Caustic instead?
I think it's fine. With Grimstroke, if you skill Power Strike, you can play very aggressive the first couple of waves. I kind of like it in certain lane matchups. If you have a very aggressive support, I feel like it's good to have the stun at level 1 so you can pressure.
Shifting a little bit more out of lanes and into the more late game, how do you see this game developing more? Sounded like Astini was pretty confident in the late game potential of an Alacrity Tiny. And I have to say, when he's walking around with like 300, 400 base damage with a crit and Alacrity, that does sound pretty scary. Do Infamous have a late game strategy here?
I mean, I think not really though. With TA, it's like your aim is to finish the game. You have a couple of timings, right? With the Deso, BKB, Blink. All these are your very, very good timings on the hero. And I feel like TA is also quite a broken hero. They've been mentioning about Tiny being the broken hero, but I think TA is also a very broken hero.
Okay. What about her is broken? Is it her farming speed? Because I've definitely seen that a couple of times as DPC so far.
Yeah, it takes a lot of boxes. As a carry, you can fight, you can take Ancients, you can take Roche, you kill buildings, you kill supports, you have Silence with the trap. I mean, she just does way too much for your team. And she's kind of one of those carries where I feel like, I've been mentioning this a lot in my cast, where you need a carry that can help your team get rich at the same time. Not just you getting rich alone, and TA fits that box. She helps her team, she fights, she has... she gives her supports a lot of space in the map. And I think overall, just a very, very good core hero right now.
Okay. Okay, so we'll see how Lumiere does on those first couple of power spikes. Usually it's going to be something like a Dragonlance first is quite typical for a safe lane TA after those boots, and then Deso, and we'll see where the game leads us from there. But those are some significant power spikes, especially on a TA. I think, especially if you've watched a fair amount of competitive Dota 2, you're very familiar with those. What's something Hokori can do to kind of prepare themselves for those individual power spikes when they know Infamous is going to be running at them? How powerful is a tool like Ravage, for example?
I mean, it's a long cooldown, but they have to make it count. They have very big spells, the Ravage, the Shaman ulti. All those are going to be very, very useful in defending their towers, getting Roche. Grimstroke as well on the Undying.
Arctic, now he's got that point in the decay, so he's actually going to fight through this one as they will dispatch the Tombstone, but Slavin receives a tree to the face, and that will nuke him down. Oscar out of mana, but quite tanky here with the Bracer. He's going to be able to walk off this damage.
Yeah, I mean, even though he didn't have Tombstone, I didn't have Decay at level 1, but still, when he gets the Decay at level 2, Undying is still very, very good on the lane, especially when you have kill potential. I kind of like to play Undying the lane when you have a partner which has a stun.
Yeah, this bottom lane was looking a little bit dicey there. Level 2 between the Gush and now the Shackles. That Gush minus armor slowing the TA, and of course these Shaman auto attacks, they hurt.
Yeah,
man.
77.
Abo and I, we casted I think it was a Western Year game, could have been an NA game, but quite recently this week where it was Tide and a Shaman versus a Dusa, and this lane was a bully. Yeah, could quite struggle in this lane as well if she's not careful.
Yeah, look at the Tide. He didn't even have the skill Kraken Shell because he's so confident in the lane.
Oh, now they're going to look here for the first meld point on a kill onto Theo Licor. He's got a stick charge to keep him alive and a healing salve, so we will be able to walk off the damage.
Yeah, always have healing salves on the lane as supports. I think it's pretty underrated sometimes that when you use your healing salve, and then you should send another one more to the lane.
Analog, just checking in with our mid lane matchup. This is kind of just a you farm, I farm kind of lane where Analog's able to poke and harass, but he is chugging along very nicely, right? He's got his full Urn of Shadows. Alone with the bottle is not going to be too bothered here, really, by the Invoker.
I mean, it's gonna be a competition of who gets the runes and the rotations. Like if Invoker is gonna be rotating, the Corp is gonna be there. Same goes for the other way around. Top lane,
Yep, Gardic. He's going to erect the tombstone here, but that's a big Inkswell that's going to catch not only him, but also Yuma briefly. Gardic, though, keeps himself alive. He's got a Soul Rip. And Oscar is going to take cover here in the level 1 Sandstorm, which will get him out of this one. Gardic, considering chasing, as is Yuma, actually, has a Tree Toss level 2 at the ready. As the Inkswell slows Gardic, Decay is going to be useful in securing the kill. As now Gardic, he's pretty happy to die here, but might not even need to go. No, he will.
Oh, he lost the buff.
Yeah, he lost 1 stack of Decay there, and right as the auto attack hit him, that was enough damage to kill him.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That has happened to me many times.
You got to be careful. It always feels a little bit bad whenever you have Decay stacks, because you know you're going to lose them, and also it makes your regen a lot weaker, doesn't it? Eating a Tango when you have like 20 stolen strength just doesn't feel good.
You want to use your regen items when you have you lost your buff, when you don't have the buffs.
Yeah, and then usually you only lose your buff when you're out of mana, and then you're like, well, I might as well deny myself under tower. It's kind of a weird game the Undying has to play, isn't it?
Yeah, or you just fight until you die. Same like Skywrath, you know, Undying and Skywrath.
They are going to get some decent damage now on Ethereal Core. He turns, though, with the Shackles. Full duration. A decent heal now, of course, as those do end up healing Shaman for the same amount of damages. However, Ethereal Core is going to die to the second Melt Strike here on LumiERE. Mid lane, something a little bit more noteworthy here, WinteR, is that this Invoker analog with 11 denies here already. It's not going to really stop Quap from farming too much, of course, with Scream of Pain level 2, but it's kind of significant here.
Yeah, he went for the double null, so he actually has more damage than the Quap in the lane.
And he's got Brown Boots on the way, so these Invoker rotations are going to be a little bit more viable now that he can actually move. But right now...
6-minute rune.
To DD even, and with the Tombstone and the body blocks from Gardic, that is going to be the first kill for Invoker analog, which is going to give him his first 2 earn charges. Quap has TP'd to the mid lane.
Yeah.
So Analog can look to TP to another lane, and Alone will not be able to match him, especially after he clears the wagon.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. That's a big deal. Now the Quap has to stay in the lane to defend.
Yep. He's cleared the wagon, and Oscar is in some trouble top. No, he's going to be A-okay. Yeah, I would consider that, especially now that Analog has boots. It looks like he's going to try for some tower damage instead. Has a little bit of kill threat, actually, versus this Quap. I'm not sure.
He's destroying this lane.
Yep. I'm not sure exactly what how many points in Quas you need for Ice Snap to prevent a Queen of Pain from blinking away between the Urn procs, but you know, the DD rune, the Urn charges, it was definitely scaring Alone.
Oh, Tornado, EMP. He's gonna lose everything.
Yeah, no Urn, but of course, Alone blinking in for that one had no recourse to escape.
That's pretty bad. So the Quap is pretty much useless right now. She can't really help any of the lanes. Bot lane, Shaman, but he should be fine. Tide's doing pretty well on this lane. TA is not too bad. Just a couple CS behind.
Not too bad for the TA at all, but right now Hokori leading all 3 lanes comfortably. Top lane's a little bit of a... Well, not quite, right? Because Lilian actually has got a decent amount of CS himself here, having secured a lot of the range creeps, I imagine, with this level 2 Stroke of Fate. He's got full mana boots now, and he's going to go ahead and top up Alone here.
Oh, your dream start as Grimstroke, getting an early mana boots.
That's so nice. He's even queued up a Blink Dagger here, so he has high aspirations, WinteR.
Blink Dagger, yeah?
Yeah. It's not the item I completely expected this game. Not a fantastic, of course, with a tiny carry, not a fantastic game to be dreaming of something like an Ag Scepter. We've been seeing a couple of position 4s when they have the money opt for something like a Helm of Dominator instead. I believe OG opting for it twice in their series.
I kind of like the shard this game because the enemy has a lot of hard disables, and the dispel is actually pretty nice. I think overall when you're going in.
Plus it still heals, right?
Yeah, it heals too. I think overall when you have a Sand King or you have a hero that always constantly likes to go in, as Grimstroke, I personally like to get the shard early.
Speaking of early, not really too early, basically right on time, LumiERE is going to end up rotating into the jungle. Is unable to farm this little stack. I think Vitaly.
I mean, preferably when your Sand King has Blink. Preferably.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a good ward here watching. Oh, it's going to be dewarded though, even giving the XP to LumiERE. The cores, man, they get everything.
The game now is a lot of it is just centralized around which hero has a good shard, you know, that's being picked.
Oh,
that's something I don't know.
Okay, he's going to use Burrow Strike at least to dodge the Tornado. However, it seems like he's still going to end up dying here to the Cold Snap Urn rotation. Okay, 3-man Sonic Wave, but where's the follow-up? Alone, he's going to do it himself as he blinks on in. The Inkswell is more to just evacuate him, however, as Slavin wasn't really on the same page there as his Quap.
That's pretty bad right now. The co-op has used her ulti. She doesn't really get too much from it. Invoker's still staying there.
Yeah,
Really nice play.
The Cold Snap here, the toss is going to throw the Stampy there. Of course, that's not their own, so he's not going to actually stomp, but they don't need him to. He's got more than enough follow-up there with the
I swear it always happens, you know. When you gank as a mid laner and then you stay for a bit, you always get that bonus kill.
Yep, a +1. Just be patient.
Yeah.
And Invoker with shorter cooldowns than some mid laners, especially when you do end up getting that kill and refilling the urn. That's very nice. And in fact, he's going for the full Vessel here, Vessel WinteR, almost having that one online immediately.
He has a haste rune. He's going back top again, it seems. So this is a perfect rune for him.
Yep. Excuse me, Gardic, get out of my way, he says. Gardic says no. And so Analog says, okay, I'm not ganking. Back to mid lane I go.
Yeah, you don't really waste much time anyway, since you have haste.
Yeah, very true. Just taking a nice tour through the river. They were about to be scouted. I believe he was scouted as well by that ward that Infamous have above their triangle. So perhaps he saw the way that Sand King reacted and figured that that was going to be a kill not quite worth going for. But bad signs here for Infamous out of the laning stage as their Queen of Pain is going to be the poorest of the cores. Again, she can farm, but she will be kind of competing for a bit of farm alongside Oscar, who also had a little bit of a rough lane.
That's no good for Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain is like a very snowball momentum-based hero. And if you're not getting kills with the first couple of Sonic Waves, you're not farming well, that's really bad for you. Oh, they're going for early rush.
Yeah, wow, with the Serpent Wards, this is possible. And again, with the Tombstone Zombies to help tank through Roche, this might be doable. I believe this might have been scouted, though. No, not quite. That Ward Scout is not going to let them see anymore. And in fact, it's going to be Gardic who sees a big ancient, or not ancient stack. Well, he sees an ancient stack, but a bigger hard camp stack. It's going to trigger some rotations here. Gardic will fall. Roche, though, is dropping mighty fast, and that is going to be first Aegis here basically snatched and stolen by Yuma. In fact, the fight now breaking out, as they will be able to clear at least Affliction. They'll cleans them up there with the EMP. And they're thinking about maybe
they're going to take the stack?
Can they do this?
I don't think they can do much right now. It's too fast.
Got Epicenter, the double stun being a little bit wonky there, but the toss interrupting at least the Epi. Is going to be forced to restart it. Now the Cold Snap's going to prevent Oscar from getting it off at all. Ali holding on to the Ravage here as the rest of Hokori simply back away. I didn't actually see who got the most of those last hits. We're not done fighting quite yet. Nice Shackles here is going to catch alone. There's finally the stun to come through, and a 2x multicast with the TA damage is going to nuke through the Shaman. Analog turning.
Oh, Ravage, big Ravage.
Quap blinked into this, and she will be taking the short trip back to the Fountain. Tombstone now. What level is this Tombstone here? Level 3 is dropped. Zoskat this time does get the Epi off. Good damage onto one. Gardic still alive, but another multicast on the Fire Blast will nuke him down. Shri toss towards Slavin is going to be ignored by the smoke. It even seems like the same smoke is going to save the life of Oscar.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I mean, I think they got a little bit too greedy initially, trying to, trying to force the fight there. Because the Tide, he was waiting for Soaring when they were about to fight in the Ancients. His Soaring was on cooldown, didn't have mana for the Ravage. They had to wait for that.
And like you're saying about this this TA hero, right, kind of being a make your cores rich hero, immediately we see Oscar take a pretty big leap in terms of net worth after he gets at least one kill there. Lumiere, of course, participating in that fight with basically just Dragonlance and Shreds, is also now going to leapfrog to the top of the the net worth charts himself. So again, a decent stabilization here.
Very, very important that your carries, they can actually come and help the team nowadays. If your carry is he doesn't have like a specific item that he can get early, like a diffuser, for example.
Or Oscar into the mid lane. Tornado's pretty good, but the Inkswell stun's still going to get him, and that's alone to secure it. Nice little bounty at 350 gold.
That was like a rage Sonic Wave. I can feel it. You bully me the whole early game. Screw you.
He wanted that killing streak as well, which do give a little bit more gold. Ty's just going to TP into this. They've got a pretty good counter him, though, with this Phantom's Embrace. Most guys even going to follow up stun. He is tanky, though. you're saying, Gardic throwing down the tombstone is throwing over the Tide Hunter is going to be Yuma. Oscar with a quick jump up to the high ground. The tree will chase him and find the kill.
This is what we've been seeing a lot now with carries, you know. All the carries, you have to have an early item, like for this instance, the Tiny as an Echo, and you can come to the fights, all these early tower defenses, all these early fights. Imagine they defended the tower without having Ravage.
They still don't have Ravage, but they will in 15 more seconds. Tombstone on cooldown for an additional 40. The sensor is ready to go alongside this Blink Dagger, but still dead and now respawning. They won't be able to defend that tier 1 tower push.
Yeah, and
now
TA can't get a trade at top as well.
Nope.
Shaman's here defending, but seems like he's gonna get it at the end of the day.
Hokori want to fight into this one. They might pretend to just kind of leave the lane. It's maybe a bit of a fake back, trying to get the TA to farm one more wave. But LumiEre, he's going to take some safe farm. He's going to send the Scorpion in his place into die. But Oscar thinking about fighting here because he's got the ward down. He thought he was going to find them. A fast blink away by Oscar, though. Didn't quite catch him.
That smoke was a little bit too late. They wanted to not allow the TA to get the tower, but she still got it. She has her Deso now. And she's gonna go for the blink next, but she's pretty strong already right now if she wants to go to the fight. I think in this game, you're definitely gonna need the BKB for TA. It's
right?
pretty pretty important for her to get the BKB this game.
Do you why do you think that LumiEre is going for blink before BKB?
I mean, it's just overall like a nice thing to have. It helps you farm as well. Like if you go Dragonlance, Deso, and then BKB. Even if you have the BKB, you cannot kill anybody, you cannot fight because you don't have mobility. That's why you always get Blink before the BKB. Most of the time, 99% of the time.
Sure. Yeah, I've seen on the safe lane Quaps, I've seen that go not quite 50-50. I think it more depends on your team's lineup. But yeah, I think that makes sense to me, right? More of a farming item. And that kind of sucks for Hokori, right? Because to Duster's point, he was talking about how this Undying's going to... I mean, what is he to do, basically, right? He's just kind of walking around. Sure, he's doing support things, de-warding, breaking smokes, right? But this...
Dropping tombstones. That's your job.
Yeah, dropping tombstones. I mean, what else is he going to do now for the next, I don't know, 10 minutes before we have a nice big fight? This kind of sucks for him, right?
I mean, that's Undying, you know. You do well in your lane, you help with Roche and tower pushing, and apart from that, I mean, I can understand where he's coming from. Apart from those duties, you're just breaking smoke and feeding and placing wards. Yeah, I mean, it's true what he's saying.
Yeah, even the Shaman here is getting involved with a little bit of a split pushing action down bottom as he will drop the Serpent Wards to help support the Catapult wave. Catapult, which literally, by the way, has 1 HP. And will be taken
they
down
have a
by
ward.
the tower.
No wonder they see him. They have a ward there. Yeah. I was like, how did they see him?
Ardek's going to live through that. Does drop his max level Tombstone now. As Analog is not going to be building into the Midas to try and go, you know, the scaling Exhort Invoker build into Ags like we used to see. I'm starting to see this build kind of fall out of favor. That Midas build a little bit more, at least when I was looking at like BZM and a couple of other European mid laners. I'm not sure about SA as much. I didn't get the chance to really do a deep dive here. But it seems like LumiEre or Analog is following that trend.
I kind of like it this game because the Tide and the Tiny, they're both relatively greedy heroes. And if you go for the Midas on the Invoker, this game I feel like it might be too much for a team to handle. And the way he's playing it right now, it's more like a buffer for the Tiny. You want to cast your Solar Crest and your Alacrity on him. And the Tide is just going to stand in front and protect the Tiny. Because they have this Tombstone plus the Shaman wards. So it's very easy for them to hit a very... if they get like 1 or 2 key kills, they can go hit buildings very easily with those spells.
Now Tide with Blink is going into Sag Scepter as alone. Jumping forward, there is a Ravage.
He definitely considered ravaging the corp.
Yep. I would have considered it as well. In fact, I might have let it rip. Wouldn't have been enough follow-up there anyway. Okay, so first Aegis has been reclaimed. This is going to be second Roche, maybe respawning in a minute. Yuma has now the Ag Shard, Blink Dagger on top of the Echo Saber, so here comes a smoke play now from Hokori.
Yeah, it's Blink as well.
Scott. He's going to make the jump onto Vitali. The Phantom's
the silence
to prevent the Ravage from coming through. They need to clear that Phantom, but they're not doing it quite yet. Now they've done it. Ravage is out. Oscar is dead, and the rest of Infamous are scattering. They don't like the way this fight is going, and for good reason. Gardic running them down. He's already put down the Tombstone, doing 25 damage now. The slotting with the Dust is alone. Counter-initiating now with the Inkswell. Has caught Analog for a decent stun, but there's absolutely no follow-up, and Alone is just going to die.
He is definitely tilted from the lane. I can feel it. Like he just
LumiEre
blinked in like that.
is
my
lucky
God.
to blink away, as XL is going to be the 4th and final hero to die here. But yeah, that was a very aggressive blink, wasn't it?
I mean, I felt like they went on the tide in a very like the positioning was so awkward. Their team was like so far away. I didn't feel like they could have actually taken that fight. Like we see another battle strike here.
That's
Yep,
better.
They get the,
It's time to get it right onto analog.
Yeah, they get the analog invoker this time. But I feel like they have to be very careful with taking the fights. I'm not sure if the tide should be even though you have the Grimstroke silence and the Kraken shell doesn't remove that. I'm not sure if he's the first hero that you should go on. I feel like they have to like try to jump the Undying and the Shaman, the back lines. If they don't see these two heroes, it's not that wise for them to jump on the tide right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, even if you're silenced and you can't clear the Phantom's Embrace, you can still get off your Hooded Defiance. And although Pipe is kind of a bad item and has been for a while, Pipe is very good. 350 damage block for basically Epicenter. It's amazing. You've got Kraken Shell to tank you up versus all the physical damage. I mean, they don't really go through that tide that quickly. I agree with you completely there.
Oh, Tombstone. Just the D-Ward.
Yeah. And they know, and they have scouted the attempted start at this Roche. Roche number 2 already here at the 20-minute mark. Has Aegis, has Aeg's Shard as well. Of course, TA would very much like to get her hands on this Aegis. Would secure her BKB, essentially, the time to farm BKB. So let's give you this trap, Silence, right? Which is going to be very useful for canceling things like Shackles or maybe stopping an out of toss combo.
I mean, once she gets her BKB, I think that's the time when they can truly start to start the fight on the tide and they can kill the tide. If TA doesn't have BKB, I don't see that happening. But once she gets that, I can see them jumping on the tide and with the silence and killing the tide from full to 0. But before that,
just to translate the all chat there was a bit of a server spike that I think we all felt, and they paused briefly and said, I think now it's passed already. I believe it's passed, I believe is what was said. So we're good to go yet again, as Infamous will smoke and head into the enemy triangle, which is currently vacant. They're going to definitely know this, because of course...
Yeah, but that's a rather strange move, because Roche is up. You generally don't really want to leave the area around Roche, and...
Hokori.
I mean, it's just like a high-risk, low-reward play, you know. Maybe they get a pick-off, maybe not, but, you know, it doesn't feel good when you know Roche is up and you're leaving the area.
No, agreed. I mean, look at how many sentries that Infamous has put down on this side of the map.
Yeah.
Like, just how much they've invested in this side,
I
right?
I don't feel like they have too many left. I mean, I can't really see it, but I think maybe 1 or 2 left only. And it's pretty important they have to, when they're trying to place all these sentries and observers around the Roche area, they have to stay there and guard the area.
Smoke number 2. I don't believe this one was caught by this observer ward that Hokori
They
had
know,
down,
I think
but Roche is started up. This TA
That's
trap will now scout them. Scott didn't make the jump on that Inkswell. Now Vidali, he's captured the Arcane Rune. Arcane Ravage sounds pretty juicy right about now. Is Roche already half HP? Basically just Serpent Ward's doing the bulk of the work here. There goes Oscar, he's in onto the Undying, and the Nullstrike will nuke him, 100 to 0, but that's Epicenter also used, and Undying simply buys back. Roche, now an 1/8 of his HP remaining. Oscar has Bro Strike in another second, but can't quite get in time, as Yuma will capture the Ag Shard as well as the Aegis. All the loot going to Hokori as well as the kill, but now the 2-man Soulbind here is going to trigger the Ravage from Vitali. Yuma wants to go for more. Everyone's kind of slowed, though, as they did double up and maybe even triple up there on the Ignite. Infamous unable to really contest that Roche.
He really wanted to use the Ravage with Arcane.
Why not, eh? 80-second cooldown, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, they got Roche. Nobody died, right? Yeah, nobody died.
Nobody died? Undying. He bought back.
Oh yeah,
You know,
true. The set Undying.
What else is he gonna do? Tanks the smoke. They're happy with him.
Hey, if you get rich with Undying, you do a lot.
Yeah? Like what?
Yes, the stone.
It's true, Philosopher's Stone.
One day it's gonna happen. One day.
You know what the Philosopher's Stone is from?
Harry Potter?
No. It is from, whoa, did you see that blink? Vitali's like, I'm gonna dodge that Ignite. It is from an alchemy book from like the 1600s. They said that was something that you would build and it would turn items into gold.
Isn't that Midas?
No. Midas was different. You're thinking of King Midas, where he touched his son and he turned to gold.
They don't hear what we heard.
No, they don't. Probably for the best.
Yeah, some things are just better not known.
Very true. Very true. Right now, though, unknown to Hokori, there is a 9-second BKB ready for this TA.
Oh, while in the
they
Sand
will make
King.
the jump aggressively onto Oscar once again. Saved simply just by Sandstorm and Burrow striking away. Too big of an investment from Hokori anyway, and in fact, they've caught bigger fish. Lumiere, affected by the cold snap, of course, can still blink because he had refraction up. Hokori unable to also find the TA.
Yeah, they have all their spells up
Okay.
pretty much, so it's time for them to go. Does he have TP? Oh, they know he doesn't have TP, right?
I
he's dead,
believe they've caught vision of him there. Only just a glimpse. Dust is ready to go in 1 more second. They're going to drop a meatball on him. 25 more damage out from the Shaman. Hexed up, and they're going to let him tick down.
Wait,
to
Tombstone?
the
Oh,
Invoker,
they lost
but they've
vision.
used Tombstone, I suppose.
I mean, they lost vision, that's why.
Middle?
Top lane, solo kill? Solo kill?
Is it? Yeah, well, it's just a Shaman. He's got his shard now, and he did commit the Serpent Wards for this. And in fact, Lumiere is quickly closing the gap here, wants to punish the Shaman. There's going to be the Meld Strike, and just about 3 hits is all they needed there.
Oh, TA? Oh!
She's gone deep. Avatos does not have TP, has BKB. Is going to be in a bit of trouble as Vitaly is just looking to body block the Templar Assassin. A quick little melt does allow her to at least get the blink off safely, but Vitaly is going to give chase with the blink of his own. Has a Ravage ready to go. Likely not going to need it here, as Yuma with his own blink also will close the gap. And that is going to be a position 5. Make that a position 4 for your hard carry.
I mean, I don't know about you. I see this happen a lot. With TA players, they go for like a high risk kill, and then they don't want to use their BKB to TP out, and then they just die. I swear it always happens with TA.
Relying on the meld, and now we're going to start to see just a glimpse of this late game Tiny, aren't we? Alacrity and Solar Crest on this Invoker, buffing up the Tiny. Not even there for that tower, but eventually.
Yeah. I actually really like how he's playing the Invoker this game. Like usually, like you mentioned earlier, like you want to go for the Midas, get your axe because you have a tight Ravage and you want that Cataclysm. But this game, he's just playing more for the Tiny, and I kind of like how he's playing it.
And I guess, I mean, this game, I don't think Cataclysm is the best tool to get through a TA, right? I mean, she's got refraction, and she's pretty good against those single target.
It's still good for the team fight in the team fight
100%,
overall.
right? It's gonna kill a Quap, it'll kill the supports, right? Yeah, I mean, that's true, right? TA, I don't think she's one of these heroes that can 1v5, or is she? Do you think a TA, in a good TA game, can 1v5?
It's always a good TA game.
Is
I mean,
it?
that's,
This
okay,
one-
okay, that's not accurate. It's never a bad TA game.
I like that. I like the inverse. I like the inverse.
I feel like when you're playing against Bat or Vanor, the classic counters, you still don't feel so bad because of how fast you can snowball in the game, you know? Those heroes, they don't snowball as fast as you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. There's a gem, by the way, now, and yep, there's going to be that AoE Gush available for the Tide
They're
Hunter.
trying to take this fight. They have to try to... I feel like they have to try to... If they are going to defend the tower, they need to try to get the support. So try maybe a wraparound smoke or hide in a sneaky location.
They're picking a good time. This Aegis is going to be reclaimed here momentarily. There it goes from Yuma.
I mean, the Invoker has no BKB. They can burst the Invoker if they can get him.
If they can get him, and if they can sneak up to him. Right now, Hokori playing a very mean vision game. They've had an observer ward on this cliff that they're hugging for probably the past 12 minutes or so, it feels
That's the
like.
right play. Hug your vision. You know how much your support sacrifice
Yeah.
to place those vision?
Listen,
Don't just
wards,
let
they
it
may
go.
be free, but WinteR, tell us about how much it used to suck to play support.
Yeah.
Tell us
man.
about it.
Every game
Upgrading a courier.
you spend all your gold on that, buying dust, smoke. You only have tranquil boots and a bracer. You place the ward and you ping the high ground, your team just leaves and they don't defend the ward.
Pain. Pain.
Yeah, that's my only net worth, you know, that ward there.
They used to, what, cost 75, 100 gold or something? They were expensive.
Yeah, 100 gold.
150 for a pair of sentries.
Yeah, those times,
80 for
man.
dust.
Yeah, TPs also cost gold, by the way.
Yep. 210 to upgrade your courier.
Oh,
It was brutal.
Sand King is looking for a target here.
Yeah,
Can they find the supports?
found the
Invoker?
Invoker. That's a good jump with the Ravage counter initiate. They've immediately stopped this one dead in its tracks. Yuma nearly one-shotting the Scorpion. And he's going to toss the tree as a very cold welcome when he returns, as if the ice wall wasn't cold enough.
That
No
was,
ultis used there by Infamous, at least.
That was way too far forward, even though they got the Invoker. They just couldn't follow up.
Strike the scout in the trees, and the follow-up seemed mighty difficult there. That's
No,
gonna be
Alacrity,
number
Tiny.
1. Oh, here he goes. Solar Crest with 6 shots on the towers in what, 4 seconds? That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
tiny.
he had AC.
It's tiny. What's his attack speed? Even with just AC, his attack speed is just okay at 79. Echo
I mean, if
Saber,
you hit-
sure, but my
If you
goodness.
hit hard, doesn't have to be fast.
Well, or you can just do both by having the Solar Crest buff.
mean, wait till
Almost
he-
doubling his attack speed with the active.
We'll wait till he gets Moonshot.
Well, not yet anyway. He's going for a Daedalus first. He feels like he's got enough attack speed right now anyway, between
Yeah.
Solar Crest and Alacrity. And you know what? I agree with him. Go for more bonus damage. In fact, he hasn't built a crit, right? So I think that's why he's really decided to go into it. Most Tinies will go for Shadow Blade into the Echo Saber pretty early on. In fact,
Yeah.
usually it's like Shadow Blade first or second item, and then eventually you upgrade after BKB. But this is kind of more like a mid lane Tiny build, isn't it?
I kind of like sometimes they go for a casual Chrysalis and then go for other items because you get a lot of value from that.
Big
Yeah,
enough
but I think
value.
but I think the Shadow Blade in some games is really useful. Maybe not so much this game, but I think overall the item is just very strong.
What would dissuade you from building a Shadow Blade this game?
I kind of feel like in the team fights, I'm gonna be fighting around the Tombstone and the Shaman wards anyway, and it's not really a split pushy kind of game. I feel like it's more like a group up game, so I wouldn't really put a lot of priority into getting the item, even though it's a really good item right now.
Sure, that makes sense. So you prioritize the mobility that Blink always gives you anyway, rather than the surprise factor
Yeah.
of the Shadow Blade. Yeah,
And
that tracks.
Invoker has travels anyway, so he's more or less gonna be the person dealing with the dead lanes or the waves going to the
Sure.
tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Tiny's most likely gonna be with his team.
They're letting this DD rune just kind of percolate a little bit. Of course, it's going to expire in 45 seconds, and there goes Hokori pinging it a couple more times. No one, of course, Invoker doesn't build bottle. There's the casual Crystallis now you're talking about. And Yuma will
Well,
secure
if
that.
he- if
Oh,
he
Rosh has just
finishes-
respawned.
I mean, if he
Oh, no.
finishes the Daedalus, it's not casual anymore.
Oh no, this is gonna be, that was fast. Avert your eyes. You're under the age of 18. That was absolutely brutal towards what they did to Rosh.
Oh, they killed the ward. They got a ward in exchange.
Well, they finally, yeah, that's a big one at least. Hokori, well, they still hold the triangle though, and they are dispatching of these TA traps with ease.
Yeah, the Invoker is just going back. He's not even considering going bot to split push with his travel. He just wants to buff the Tiny.
They were convinced they were going to get it to someone there with the
Oh, he
jump.
has
Wolfsguy
Aegis.
with the jump on in. He does have Aegis. They've nearly cleaved through him, and now finally have. Lumiere focusing his attention now to the Tombstone, has now gotten rid of that as alone, doing a good job separating the team fight, but can't really stop Yuma from simply walking away. Doing good damage to Teal Core though, and
Oh,
will secure
nice
the kill
stun.
with that secondary blink with the Avalanche is amazing. Alone gets a blink out. The Gush though from the low ground. Vitali will spit on the Quap and find the kill. 2 buybacks
Oh,
now
the
from the
damage.
support some of Hokori. Ravage already. Oh, they still have
He
Ravage.
has
Good
one
eye.
more. You see, he has one more. Refresher shot.
And there it goes, onto Lumiere, and there goes the TA, 800 crit just with the Crystallis. Look who's back, it's Theo Licor. He's going to find the Hex now onto Oskar as Analog pops his own BKB. They've taken down the Troll, the Ogre rather, and now they look for the Sand King, 4 dead. That makes it very likely to be just about the game, as yep, Yuma straight onto tier 4s.
Look at that tower.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 shots at tier 4, and probably even less of that to the Ancients, as they will call the GG.
5, 6,
Hokori.
7, 8. Okay,
They take
Ancients
game
is 10,
one.
10 hits. 10 hit for the Ancients. Yeah, just what a systematic game by Hokori. How they are playing around their spells, their cooldowns. I mean, there were certain points where they were maybe a bit over ambitious, but I think overall they were really good about using their timings, going for Roche. That early Roche, but at minute 11, is it 11? The first Roche
It was
pretty
earlier,
early.
yeah. It must have been about 11 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I just like how they, how they did all those timings with their spells, and they were really disciplined. They were moving as a unit. And yeah, sure. And I think the MVP definitely goes for me personally, the Invoker. How much he won his lane. And the Corp just barely had any impact early on because of that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I pointed out that lane was starting to be a little bit lopsided with the early deny advantage that Analog managed to accrue, but I really wasn't expecting it to get that ugly. I think Analog probably could have pressed his advantage a little bit more, right? As soon as Quap TP's back to the lane, he was content just chilling and putting tower pressure there, which doesn't allow Alone to do anything, let alone farm or gank. I do believe we have ourselves our panel ready to break down that game just a little bit more. So we're going to throw it on back over to Avo plus Astini and Duster to get their takes on what happened in Game 1.
Thank you, Richie. If you guys were in the chat for that game, it was a debate of how many calories broccoli has versus cauliflower. But I want to ask WinteR how many calories that camera has, because he's been eating it up every time we see his face. Thank you, WinteR, for always providing us great laughs. That Game 1, Astini, my question for you is, do you ever get tired of being right? Is this just a curse you have? Why were you so on point with the analysis there, Astini?
I still need to figure out more things to always be right, but hope like I'm
Look
happy.
at the humility. What a fake humility, Astini. I've seen your Twitter. Don't you pretend.
And like, I don't think it only has to do about draft. Like draft was maybe 730, but execution was 100-0. Like Hokori, they just played way better the game. Like something that WinteR mentioned on that blink on Quap on a team fight is like, oh, I can see he's tilted, and I could see he was tilted from minute 7. So Analog just outplayed Alone, and it's just like a SA mid laner, the typical one that gets tilted. So really well played from laning stage to the Roche to the like snowballing with Aegis, second Roche, like perfect played by Hokori.
Do you agree with that assessment, Duster?
Yeah, Analog played great in the mid lane. Very responsible with the way he played, not trying to push his advantage too much, just chilling and pressuring. And I really liked the execution of the Shaman, the early Roches. As I mentioned, it's pretty OP. They did it with the +1. You could argue 2.5 with the Tombstone, but it was easy Roches, and it just makes you snowball so hard. But the first Aegis was a bit useless in a way. Like Tiny didn't use much, but the second with the shard just helped them so much to snowball.
Yeah. What about we talked a lot about the mid lane, but let's talk about the offlane for a second, Duster. You were talking about how strong you thought the Sanking was, but this game we didn't really see Oscar's impact. Why is that? Why was he so nullified this game?
Against the very tanky heroes like Tidehunter and Tiny, and Dying also kind of tanky. Like you can burst, of course, but you use a lot of spells. But I also think they always initiated the wrong targets. Like a couple of fights he went on Tide thinking he could burst with the Epi and Inkswell, and it just didn't work. Like they miscalculated their damage, and Tide got the Ravage pretty much all of the fights, and it just ruined, because if you use all of your spells and your initiation on one hero and he doesn't die and he gets his Ravage off, it just ruins your team fight completely.
Right. Astini, as we close the post-game panel, we go to a break before that. I want to know from you. You said it was 70-30. Sorry, it was like 70-30 draft, but the execution was the main factor there. Fixing draft is kind of easy, just click different heroes, right? Theoretically. But how do you fix the execution mistakes from Game 1 to Game 2? Like, what is it that you can tell your team in this brief break that you have to make sure that they play the Game 2 better?
Honestly, I would tell the less as possible, because when you fail so hard, you don't want to talk about it. You're just going to get more tilted. What I say is like, hey guys, take a 5-minute break. The one that smokes, go smoke. The one that want to drink water, go drink water. If a player meditates, that's amazing. That's what they need to do. But 99% of players, they don't respect that it's a must. But if you can meditate for 5 minutes, that's what you need. Like, just go read books about big sport names and what they did. That's what they do to get their mind on the right place. But yeah.
Okay. little call to meditation. I was not expecting you to answer that, Astini, so thank you for that information. As we go into a small break, we'll come back with game number 2 between Infamous and Hokori shortly, and we'll see you guys then. Welcome, guys, once again. It's game 2 for the last game of the day for the DPC. If you guys want to be true DPC fanatics, you better stay here because Infamous and Hokori are using their all trying to beat each other. Hokori takes game 1 pretty convincingly, and now we're looking into game 2. The question for this game 2, though, did Infamous meditate? Definitely not, because I know that there's no way you got a loan to meditate. But could they have made some changes? And here's what I'm going to ask you, Astini. You talked about the personal choices they can make to improve for game 2. But what are some of the drafting choices you can make in game 2 when you've just lost a game like this? What are some of the things you can do to make it easier for you?
I think they could ban the Shadow Shaman because if Hokori is still the same mindset, they have those pocket strategies with some cheese on it. And I think Shadow Shaman is like the biggest part of that cheese of getting like the early Aegis. I agree with Duster that the first one didn't make such a change, but I just think it made easier like all Hokori execution.
Yeah. I mean, Hokori is the king of cheese, man. And they were the guys who innovated the Alchemist offlane drafts in South America, and were pretty much the first ones to use that effectively. I love this team so much. Their drafting is amazing. Broodmother gets banned, so they get rid of that cheese. Instead, they start with the Mars for Hokori. As they go for some comfort picks. Duster, you're a player. Tell me about the value of comfort picks after you come from a lost game.
Yeah, it just helps your confidence once you lose with a new strat. You go back to what you know how to do, what is automatic in your mind, so you need to think less, pretty much.
Is there ever a danger of autopiloting, or is it or does that not happen in game 2?
It shouldn't happen. Maybe for Hokori since they won.
Sure. Yes. Astini, what do you tell the winning team when they just won a game like that? Do you bring them down to reality, or do you just celebrate with them?
It's not time to celebrate. Like it's, I try to think like as you mentioned. Okay, if I was Infamous, what I would do, and I try to prepare for the next game. So like, just more example. Last series we first pick Io, and like after the game, I'm like, hey Duster, they're gonna try to steal it from us, definitely. What do we do on that game? So I try to consider it's a total different game. And we need to be focused on that second game as it's the first. Like, always focus on the current game you have. Like, there's no point at celebrating by winning just one match.
Thank you, thank you, Astini. Maybe I should call you Astini8. I don't know. That seems like a pretty appropriate answer. The Invoker now picked up for Hokori much earlier. You were raving about how it was kind of ridiculous the hero stood to the end. Do you still think it's worthwhile being a first pick Invoker like that, or an 8th pick Invoker in this case, Astini?
I really like it because you are first pick Radiant, you have the 8th pick, so you want to be able like to take Rose, to Snowball. It's the easier strat on the first pick, and Invoker with Alacrity, it just like powers up all of those carries that you want to play early on. One, which is the one they ban, is TA, but of course they have Luna, they have Duza, they have even... Okay, they don't have Tiny anymore, but it feels really well, and it's a lane dominator. Like, you already see the Ember, it's a good matchup, and even, let's say, for some weird reason they want to play Ember 4, you can't, like, shut down that hero in lane just with Kanka, so you can show the hero early on, and you don't give much draft advantage to Infamous.
Now, for Infamous, I'm going to combine this now with a Snapfire, most likely a 4, because it's mainly Beast Coast that plays as the off-lane position. We've seen a relatively weak opener. We actually saw this earlier with Liquid vs OG. They also opened with the Ember Grimstroke. What do you think of these drafts, Duster? When you start with the support, you're kind of like slowly building up to your draft. Is this a good second pick idea, or do you rather them starting more explosive like Hokori did?
No, I like it when you pick these combinations that you know it always help you to play the game in a easier. Like,
okay.
You're always doing this Ember with Inkswell, so it's always nice. Like you're not worried about what the 8th pick is gonna be, pretty much, or the next picks, because you already have your combo and you're fine with it.
Do you also like that they're like easy to execute, so you don't have to ban anything? Like nothing blocks this combo because it's just very basic combo.
Yeah, like Invoker kind of counters this combo a bit. He purges both Inkswell and Flame Guard. So they already got the hardest counter they could imagine, probably. So I think they're fine playing against Invoker anyway.
10 seconds remaining.
Talk about the buffing and Steenie. We're talking about now we have the Bloodlust on top of this. So are they setting up some sort of mega carry that can take advantage of all these buffs? Are you looking like Luna PAs kind of heroes?
Dire team
Yeah, I'd like Luna more because of like how fast the hero comes online. It's not so great to have a PA with Battle Fury, like just hitting creeps till it gets its Dezo BKB. So yeah, Luna, Duza, I feel those heroes they get online faster.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
would be better in that sense.
What are your top 3 carries when you have buffs on your team? What are the ideal heroes under any circumstances?
Luna, Gyro, Duza? Like
Yeah? Above the
just
Tiny?
guessing from now, right? Like, oh yeah, definitely Tiny, but
Okay, okay.
I wasn't thinking about because he's banned.
Yeah. I mean, in theory. So it would be like Luna, Tiny, Gyro then?
Tiny and TA, they have a really good spot in there.
Okay.
Luna, TA, Tiny.
Okay, all right. So Luna's the one left. I'm glad that you told that because Luna's the one left. It's the ideal pick for your draft, right? So you'd love to see Luna here, perhaps for Hokori, if it gets through.
Yeah, but they also have other ways of playing the game. Like they can go Faceless Void, and they still can run like a fast draft, but they won't be on any timer because it's like infinite scaling with the Kata Chrono. So I believe it's a must ban from Infamous, the Faceless Void.
And here, Duster, we're talking about simple combos, and now they have another simple Inkswell combo, the Grimstroke plus Juggernaut. Really strong
10
lane.
seconds remaining.
But this carry,
Surprising, actually, to see this hero.
yeah, not very popular, this carry. What do you think of him in general?
Maybe they want to pair him up with Greenstroke on the lane, so we're looking to snap 4 this time. I was also
Are you-
surprised to see Sladding playing Greenstroke, to be honest.
Why?
I think he fits more in this type of roamer heroes,
Right.
ganking heroes. I usually don't see him playing Greenstroke that much. I guess the closest to it, you can see him playing Wind Ranger. He really likes Wind Ranger, but you also can roam pretty well with the hero. Greenstroke on the other side, not so much.
What about the Snapfire that he's probably going to play here? Do you like that for sledding?
No, also a very static hero, even more than the others. Like, he's a very slow hero, Snapfire, actually, and you don't have reliable stun or anything. You kind of have to
10 seconds remaining.
get lucky with a cookie or play it well, pretty much.
Let's look at the other side support. They picked up Rubik here for Tiolikor. Tiolikor is also known for heroes like the Maran and stuff. Do you think Rubik suits that style? I mean, I know it's one of his comfort picks, but...
No, it's a more greedy support, for sure. Like, he wants to grab a spell, push lanes. You don't really think about rotating much with the hero, since Telekinesis is actually a very weak spell early on.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
love that pronunciation of telekinesis, by the way. The most Portuguese pronunciation of that word. It's exactly the same word in Spanish and Portuguese, I presume. So that's why we do this. Luna's already been banned, Destiny. Are you assuming it's going to be the Void as well?
Yeah, especially when you ban Beastmaster, it's
Yeah.
you're like asking the enemy team to ban a Faceless Void also. That's how it feels, you know?
Yep.
But also like Beastmaster, Tide... No. Yeah, Beastmaster can also show Ursa, but when you ban Tide, not so much. Like, they wouldn't ban Tide for Ursa.
So you're thinking Void most likely. I mean, if the Void get banned, is something like a Dusa still viable here? Is it still a good idea?
5 seconds remaining.
I don't like dudes against Greenstroke.
Okay.
It's weird to say like about the position 5, but
Oh.
yeah,
Well, they
there won't be
disagree.
Duza.
They disagree
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. Like, it's one of the best carries with the buffs, as mentioned, and would be the only, like, after Luna, TA, Tiny that were banned, it would come Duza, but there's some point of the game that Greenstroke get eggs, and you hate your life. Like, Greenstroke becomes, like, the strongest hero in the game, your copy. So, I'd rather the Faceless Void.
And there it is, Astini. He narrates the story of the whole draft, and it culminates in the Faceless Void. Great pick. I'm gonna give you some time now,
And you
Duster.
have Legion.
Oh, okay. He just wants to be the king. All right, Duster. What would you say? You have to fight Astini back. Give me some nice predictions here against the Void.
10 seconds remaining.
That's a hard spot, man. To predict against Stini. And my wing rate in this panel has been high also.
RDO was here before. Stini has come here to crush you, man.
Yeah, only RDO has been worse than me, I think.
What would you like to see? Tell me not about a hero, but what would you like to see this hero to have? Like, what would you like this offlaner to include?
Initiator for sure. Something to jump
Okay.
with the Sync Swell and to set up for the Mortimer Kiss. Like for now, they don't have any lockdown for it. You have chains from Ember, but it's not like very long. So I'd like to see some reliable initiation here for them.
The classic blink stuns you like to talk about, right, Duster?
Yeah, and they also have Oscar. He plays it exclusively.
Choose your hero.
Yeah, big,
There's-
nice.
There's the blink stun, the quintessential blink stun, the most basic one of them. So, you know, Duster, you're safe. Astini did not beat you this time. What do you think of
Yeah.
this last pick, Astini? Tell me, do you like the DK?
I would have liked Legion more.
Of course
But
you
yeah.
did. You said that.
It's good. It's good. It's a hero like that you cannot burst, so it's just like doing the front line, and Hokori, like Yuma doesn't want to chrono you, Mars don't want to arena you, so basically you give a lot of information by just like existing on the team fight, just being there, and that's a lot what Sladin needs to hit his ultimate. A frontliner that's getting you information, and that they are afraid to hit the hero. So seems pretty decent.
Astini, what team would you go for then?
Hokori 2-0.
Okay. Duster, do you agree with him right now? All right.
Play this Grainstroke DK Jug. I'm not firmly believe in Jug. I don't like the hero, but I think the draft makes sense and easy to play, easy to execute. And after a loss like game one, the best thing you can do is simplify your game plan. They have it.
Okay. Thank you for that, Duster. He's figured out the technique of being a panelist. If both panelists disagree, the panel is always right no matter what. Now, we're going to give a chance to the casters to be right as well as we move over to them for game number 2 between Infamous and Hokori. It's SeekNStrike and WinteR.
Yes, indeed. Duster, just the true support, right? He never wants the panel to be wrong ever, right? Isn't that right, WinteR? We got 2 more support players on this panel, myself as well as you. What are you thinking about this Jug pick, my friend?
Don't really know much about this hero at this patch. I feel like he's not that strong in my opinion, but I agree with Duster that they have this combo with the Ink Swell, and it makes the game easier to play in a lot of levels, and the laning is definitely nice. Jug plus Ink Swell. But overall, I feel like Hokori should have an easier time with their draft.
Talk to me a little bit about you suspected that Alone here, the mid laner, last game on the Quap, right, with especially some of those aggressive blinks, maybe a little bit on tilt. What are some signs we should look for early on if Alone's going to have a much better game this time around?
Ember against Invoker, not a very fun matchup if it's a Crosswax Invoker, because you can remove your Flame Guard in the lane. Yeah, but I think overall, rune control, like he should be able to, have better rune control, pushing out the waves with the Flame Guard. But he needs to be careful with when he uses it. But I think last game, I felt like he was on tilt because he was trying to do too much after the lane. He lost his lane, and then he was like trying to force things, Like, you have to be level-headed as a mid laner sometimes. You're going to lose your lane, and you have to figure out how you're going to play the game instead of trying to forcing a lot of things.
All right, well, Analog's going to be comfortable right back on the Ember Spirit. First points for Wex for the EMP this time around, and it seems like he is going to be going for a very similar start as last game, just looking to have at least a base damage advantage over the Ember.
That's not good. They forced the Jug to use spin early. So lane is gonna be... Oh, it's actually an aggressive tri-lane. I just realized with the Void. What the heck?
Indeed. This is probably the more interesting lane. Why are you so surprised here? Why were you not expecting this?
I don't
Other than
really
the
see
fact
much.
that they're rare, right?
I mean, I don't really see much aggressive tri-lanes anymore nowadays. I think they were more like... They were trying to dodge the Void against the DK lane. And Void against Jug is fantastic because the Jug can never kill you.
cookie.
Oh,
Perhaps
the Rubik.
Theodore can be killed. He's got Fade Bolt level 1, so nothing to really save him there as they now look to turn and go for a bit of skirmishing. That was the first point in time dilation, by the way, for Yuma.
Yeah, it's pretty good against Trilane. 3-3. Time dilation is a very, very good spell.
So down bottom, just to quickly comment on this lane, DK versus Mars, anything we should be on the lookout in this lane, or is it just kind of a farm, I farm lane?
One word. Just one word. Richie. Boring.
That word. Just boring. Yeah, well, fair enough. I can't disagree with you, but just wanted to at least acknowledge that this is indeed a lane. Infamous did try and scout this, but Vitaly got down here very fast and actually ended up breaking the smoke and hitting the trees. So good job on him. That did give at least
look at that
Hokori
tri
a little
lane.
bit more of an advantage.
The tri lane
lane's
is the fun lane.
one.
Yeah, the fun lane. I mean, looking at the overall setup, I feel like Zaya should have an advantage because they have more kill potential. Oh, no, okay, Rubik is dead. Bye-bye. Okay, he's...
By Rubik, and hello, First Blood. As even the cookie
nice
is pretty
cookie.
good for getting Lumiere outside of the tower range.
Yeah.
That might have kept him alive.
He would have died for sure if it wasn't on the cookie.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah, but
Which
now the
supports
wave
do
is...
you... Go ahead.
Yeah, but now the wave's going to the tower, so if they can hold the wave here and stop both pools, that should be good for the Void. You were saying which supports I feel is better in this lane?
Yeah, and specifically for a try-on-try.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Grim and the Snapfire has a lot of kill potential with the Jug, but the Rubik and Ogre, they are also pretty strong in this setup. It's just that it's hard for them to kill with the Phaser Sword, you know, compared to the Jug.
Does Rubik want to be in a tri-lane? He strikes me as a hero who's a little bit displeased with his current setup.
Yeah, not really. He wants a lot of levels.
Arctic might end up dying here in order to just
look at
block
how
the
much.
camp.
Yeah, look at how much he values blocking the camp.
Ooh. Yeah, and then he's going to stay alive there. A nice telekinesis out from Theodore. Lumiere looking to get any follow-up damage here, but they're just going to have to close the gap to Yuma. Corey definitely investing a lot of not just resources, but hit points into making sure that this tri-lane stays aggressive.
Yeah, just buy stuff. Look at him. He used his salve, and then he's buying another salve right now. That's what I'm talking about. You buy salves in the lane. Don't save on them, you know, Richie. Just buy. Buy extra salves. You never know. You're going to need
Never
them.
know. 1-1-1 build right now as well for Yuma. Going for the
Oh,
early
they got the
sampler.
pull.
With the level 1
got the-
time dilation. And they did get the pull. You can pull... How did they pull that? Did they pull from here?
48. Oh yeah, they didn't eat the tree. Yeah, probably there.
Because I know you can pull through here as well quite easily. It's not
Yeah,
too
that's
difficult.
48.
Let's look mid because there's already quite a CS discrepancy going on, right? It's 24, and hold on, actually they're fighting top Theodore, likely to die again. The spin, they're going to turn. They want sliding first, at least Theodore throwing even his last little bit of auto attacks off. The double bash from Yuma eventually finds the kill, so it's a 1-for-1 trade.
The Jug is not having a very good time. Lane's always pushed out. Look at his CS. He's 15 to the Void's 22. It's not last hitting that well. But you were saying that the Invoker is kind of struggling as well. He's 16
Yeah.
to the Ember's 27.
No, I don't know if struggling is the right word, but Ember definitely having a much
Cookie?
stronger game this time around as he will miss the Searing Chains that time around.
Nice.
Analog. Nice Cookie is going to at least stun Analog, but an even better Tornado will prevent any bit of aggression. And that was kind of weird because Slathen TP's in, and
He
Alone was not in
tried-
range for the bottle refill, so
Hey,
he's
he tried
completely out
for the
of mana.
bottle. He just came. This is actually pretty bad, you know. Like you leave a try. If it's a try versus try, you never really want to leave the lane. And even for bottle refills, only if it's an emergency. You know, if it's not an emergency, you don't really want to leave the lane.
Dyer's courier has been killed.
Yeah,
That's
now
not
the
good.
Fire Blast
Gotta
top
jump.
lane. Affliction's going to go ahead and give himself a time dilation stack. Nice time walk back from Yuma as he now will secure the kill
Bash.
onto Axel.
Bash.
Gardic in trouble. The one bash, the second bash on a Lumiere. Gardic is going to fall. And that's going to be the kill going to Theodore.
There was no way he got that kill if it wasn't for the bashes. Kind of lucky there. He got like 3 bashes, was it?
He did. I counted 3 there myself. Theodore is even going to be able to beat the Ember to the bounty refill. Yep, I think the mental game here onto Alone. Hokori looking to at least press the advantage, but there is now... Whoa.
Is the Jug coming to refill his bottle?
What?
He feels like he can't lane at our top because the wave is pushed out, that's why.
I suppose so. Theodore
We
is
know
going to
who's
say
the
hello to
carry.
him.
Now we know who's the carry this game.
That was... Listen, I don't want to say that I've never seen that before, but that was
What lane?
wild. That rotation. Arena of Blood, level 1 now onto Oscar, who's got 2-1-2, so only 2 points to the Dragons. Will have 6 stick charges, attempting to keep him alive as the Tornado EMP should be more than enough damage. Analog gets the kill, and the first 2 urn charges in his bottle.
Yeah, he messed up the
Sorry.
cookie. Maybe he could have lived.
Yeah, you can still
Maybe.
cookie over an arena, if I'm not mistaken.
Are scanning.
No, I
Maybe
think
they
you
fixed
can't,
that in
right?
spring cleaning.
I
No,
think
no,
you can't, right? No.
I believe you can. You can't leap over them anymore, but cookie, I think, for some reason, you can just jump
I
right
see.
over that.
Yeah, but regardless, he could have, if he was worried, he could have waited till the end of the arena to cookie him the right way. He would have lived. I felt he would have lived. But anyway, at the end of the day, a kill's a kill. Invoker made a
Kill.
rotation. Yeah, he's going back to mid lane right now. Ember has a haste rune. Okay, that's gonna be action soon. Where's he
Yep,
going?
And he's going to activate it. Seems like he's going to try
bot
for a
lane.
kill bottom.
I see him.
Oh, Vidali's already fairly low, so yeah, he's going to be incentivized to TP
Wow.
away, and this is not going to result in really
Wait,
anything
who-
for Alone as he shows under the wave.
Yeah, one
now.
of the supports came bot to place the ward. How was this ward here?
Which ward?
Yeah, bot lane, the river ward that saw the Ember rotation.
Tower is under
Oh,
attack.
That's a very good ward.
Oh, look at this! Spring cleaning update. Hover over the ward, or click on it.
Planted by analog. Whoa, Invoker
Yeah.
planted the ward.
Pretty
Okay.
cool. I mean, they are free now, right?
Dire structures.
Yeah.
And
it's a
even
good
though there's a
ward.
little bit of a CS discrepancy between the mid laners, after that rotation, Analog is just about even here in terms of net worth.
You know, he realizes how important it is to see this Ember. Oh, this Jug is having a terrible time. He wants to jungle. The supports are, what's up, bro? What's up? This is the most
he's-
disgusting thing you can do as an ogre in this stage of the game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Not Rush Midas. That's pretty disgusting too.
Come on, like, you have to, make sense as well. Rushing Midas is like,
Uh,
when does it
they've-
happen?
They've scouted this rotation too as well, Winter. Okay, and now they know that they're going to be coming top. Yuma has a Chronosphere. Theolocor is going to be in a little bit more danger here.
They have
as
TP.
the
They
courier
have
of
TP
Alone
on
will be
Invoker.
killed off, but there's just no kill here. Alone just ganks the courier. That's all he can get.
This is bad. The Ember made 2 rotations, but no kills.
Invoker making the one and not only getting a kill, of course, also buffing up
knew,
his own
man.
game by getting the urn charges.
He knew that he needed to place the ward
Oh,
for
no.
the...
Arctic somehow doesn't walk into it, but where's the follow-up damage? There's not really a lot of it, to be honest.
Here comes
I think
Invoker.
Yeah, Invoker incoming now. There's at least a kill now onto Axel as Yuma jumping forward, looking for more. Orsquad has TP'd in, has level 7 Elder Dragon form now at the ready. So you can throw a longer range stun and will do so here at the Invoker. Cookie to follow up, and now the spin to win from Lumiere, trying to nuke through the Invoker. The 25 damage from the dust, but ultimately it's going to be Lumiere who gets in the last auto attack. Alone as well has rotated on through, but ultimately does not get any assist gold for his movement.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Infamous did get the bottom tier 1, so that's something for them, even though the Jug is not having the best of times. I mean, he's not that far behind looking at terms of net worth. Cookie onto the Ogre.
Yeah, would be a kill here, at least on
Should be dead.
something.
Give it to
Lumiere's
Jug!
gonna jump
Give
in.
it to Jug!
Alone takes it.
I mean, we know who's the true carry now, man.
They're competing over a stack?
Who's getting the last hits?
It's kind of 50-50.
50-50, right? They're both the carries.
Dire's
Yeah,
bottom
they are
tower
both the
is
carries for
under
now.
attack.
I think Alone is going to leave Lumiere alone. Nope, it's another sleight of fist. Okay, they're mostly going to Lumiere.
I mean, he's got this pretty good net worth right now. Like, he's caught up, 4k net worth.
Dire's
Just
top
a bit
tower
low in
is
the
under
levels.
attack.
Because of the tri-lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And I really think that the only hero, although he's got a lot of money here on Vitali, in fact, he's gone for a little bit of the older build, right, with the not only a Ring of Protection, but the full armlet. Now the Soul Ring
Armlet's
completed
nice.
flying out from Mars, mid lane.
Mid lane.
And a Gardic, nice, going to be A-okay. Good tornado there from Analog. Quite literally a zoning tornado. Will keep Infamous at bay.
Yeah, I think the armlet's nice when you have this kind of 1v1 matchup. Because the components help you a lot in the lane. And armlet's really good with your God's Rebuild. This allows you to scale that much better in the game.
Taking the tower here, as Lumiere is going to show up. Does not have a point in Omni Slash and has committed all 6 of his skill points. Going to be
Oh, what?
pretty hard for them to know that, of course.
Oh, he took a second point in the heal. I guess just now when he
like
was
it.
farming.
Seems like it. Smoke play now from Infamous is going to be coming bottom. This time the ward, planted by Analog, not going to scout this one incoming, and Alone activates the DD rune that he's had bottled up for a rainy day. and decides to make it rain some blood here on the God of War himself. As in comes
I mean,
four
usually
heroes
this
to gank Mars.
usually this is like a tell, you know. You see the offlaner playing so aggressive. Usually it means that he has a lot of vision, seeing stuff around. So you have to get him in the smoke.
Structures are fortified.
This is a maxed Breathe Fire here already. Theolacor and Hokori are going to know that now as they've stolen it on the Rubik. Quite annoying ability to give Rubik, let me tell you, because damage reduction stacks additively last time I checked. And that means you're going to be missing 50% of your base damage here. There it is, minus 46 on the DK currently.
Mid lane. DD.
Alone gets
Easy kill.
Gardic.
Yeah, he is definitely having a much better time this game compared to the previous game. I mean, I think the shark is a better steal though than the Breathe Fire. I kind of like the fireball.
And there was an entire section in the spring cleaning update that's literally just the header is Rubik. And one of those changes, I had to quickly skim through it, of course, as it was between game 1 and 2, and I had to adjust my camera as well. But I did see one of those lines was now Rubik can steal it as even if he doesn't steal Elder Dragon form. Before it seemed to be attached towards Elder Dragon form, as there is action top now. Okay, the stun onto Yuma. Ember looking to close the gap. Good Breathe Fire. The silence is good here, but Yuma is going to get the Chrono Op first, and then he's going to time walk away. But the follow-up is here. Arena of Blood, and Analog gets the kill, even though Alone was speared. Didn't even need the stun to do the damage. Axel is dead, as Vitaly now looking for more. Armlet active means he can tank this tier 1 tower ad nauseum. Oscar is going to be the third to drop here. Great Chronosphere being dropped to set up the counter rotations from Hokori. Slavin on the run. Gardic has got no stun for another 4 seconds. Telekinesis if he can reach him here. That should be an additional kill now. More vessel charges for Analog.
I think maybe they miscalculated that. They felt like they could have bursted the Void from full to nothing. Because if you do that move and you don't kill him, you're basically gonna die because he's just gonna chrono everyone in front of him. It wasn't even that close though, I felt.
No. Now, Jug has got Battle Fury. He hasn't been showing up to these last couple of fights. He's fairly farmed and is going to be looking to accelerate this farm.
Yeah, but you think about it, right? No matter how fat you get as Jug, you're not gonna outskill the Void.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
No, you're not. So what's the idea of this Battle Fury? Is there like a mid-game timing they're looking for? This is a good jump on the Vitaly and should be a kill.
That's a mid lane gang though. Yeah, a kill on the Mars.
Is it looking like a mid-game timing for Lumiere? Kind of with the Battle Fury? Like, what's his idea with this, you think?
He still needs to. I mean, it's definitely still a good, farming / fighting item. Gives you some damage, but he needs to be able to, like, during mid game. I feel like probably with his Manta, maybe a blink. I think a blink would be nice on the Jug this game. He needs to be able to gap close, kill the supports in the fight, and try to abuse the chrono downtime, maybe get Rosh and try to fight with that. Because always against Chronosphere, you have to try to... there's going to be a fight, you're going to lose fight, and you try to minimize your losses, and you're going to abuse the fact that during the downtime of Chrono, you have to try and get something. And usually that's Rosh.
Yuma is, I think this is the build that I usually see Faceless Voids go for when they intend to be a monster in the Chrono, as they will try and get through Lumiere's spin TP. They don't have the damage, and they don't really have a way of stopping that unless the Faceless Void is around.
The only way they have a chance, even a remote chance of killing, is with the Void.
And speaking of the Void, they are making a smoke gank rotation. They're only going to find Gardic on the ward, and well, that's what they're going to have to
Gardic's so
Blink
good.
Reveal from Oscar. Although, counter initiation, Soulbind's onto 2. Yuma is going to keep his distance to the rest of his team, as now the Soulbind timing out, they will be able to reclaim at least the DK. Looking for more as Axel slowed by the Inks, or sorry, not the Inks will make that the Cold Snap is going to be finished off by the bashes of Yuma. This is max bash already, and the Mask of Madness with Maelstrom. So Yuma is scary in these Chronos, and guess what? He's got one now, ready to go.
I mean, Gardic is the position 5 you want. You know, the Void, he was farming the Ancients, and I felt like he was telling him run away, and then he felt like a gank was coming, and then he just ran up, and then the Void ran backwards, and then he got ganked instead of the Void.
Yuma?
That's...
What? They just go for some kisses play? I'm not sure.
They're trying to kill the Void?
I guess, but with what? Searing Chains is maxed, but I think that would have been a little bit hopeful to try and kill a Void during that.
Yeah, that's a little bit similar to to the lane when they were trying to kill the Void, and they totally underestimated how tanky the Void is, and they don't have enough damage.
WinteR is going to be rotating on through. There's a sentry here, so Ghostwalk might not keep the Invoker safe. Then again, he does have 1500 HP with the Vessel and Dual Null Talisman.
Oh, Inkswell, Oscar.
Looks like the Mars again. He's got an armlet to toggle on again, but he's not going to get too dead during the duration of the DK stun.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
GG.
Yeah, this is
I mean, I
promising
feel
for
like
WinteR.
the previous games when they were losing some of the fights for Infamous, they were also going on the wrong targets, miscalculating the damage.
Once again, it's only Gardic here, and in fact, Telekinesis stolen. Soulbind onto 2. Double, of course, Fade Bolt there is quite strong as they even double, triple, quadruple, I don't even know, all the ignites there. Bouncing to everyone as Yuma makes the jump onto Sladin.
Yeah, they got the tower though. Sladin got the tower. That's fine for them. So looking at the item timings, Jug has his Yasha soon. BK, does he have what's going? Oh, BKB next.
And check out what Analog's building this game. Changing it up.
I mean
Midas.
they are going for late game this time. They are not rushing, so I think it's a good selection this time. You're pretty much going to try to, because Jug is going to be stronger fighting early against the Void until probably I would say get 3 items on the Void. So during that period of time as an Invoker, you don't really have much to do except for speed pushing and farming, and you want to get more levels for your Sunstrike.
Yep. Yeah, especially in between the downtime of the Chronospheres. Speaking of Chronosphere, they're looking to probably put that on cooldown
They
now.
see him.
Ujima
They see
leading the
him.
smoke gang.
He's dead. I think he's dead.
They are chasing now after the Juggernauts, and they might not even need Chrono, but they're going to use it just in case. Not like there's anyone here to support. Yuma's going to get the kill.
This is a very nice ward here by Teolico. Like usually when you're moving around playing the map, I feel like I like when you have one ward on the top side and one ward on the bot side, and you can see if the enemy. Because usually when a fight is happening top, the enemy carry, if he can't fight, he would try to sneak towards the bottom area to farm. And having a ward at the bottom area is always very, very nice. So you have a chance to kill him.
And that time they do find him. Chronosphere committed. Maelstrom now 4 alone. That might buy enough time now, and it will actually. I was about to say, for the Mars to get his Blink Dagger online. They've caught him now twice consecutively in the mid lane, so they've delayed it a couple of minutes. But now Hokori are probably ready to smoke and fight yet again. They really only use Chrono here and still look for a decent fight with just
Wait
the
for
Mars
Roche.
Arena of Blood. But Roche is going on.
Chrono's down, that's why they have to do this.
Can
they
Hokori still fight?
Nah, I think they're not gonna reset. They just need to keep the game going, push out the waves, scale. I don't feel like this first Roche is going to, be too bothersome for them.
Okay. So the scan's gonna come through.
Oh, he get it?
Try to snipe the kill. They almost got it.
That was
Would've been
close.
Nice for the bounty.
Yeah, and the XP as well.
Is going to take that first Aegis immediately into Butterfly here for the Juggernauts.
Yeah, it's good against the Void. Doesn't help against the Sunstrike though, but good against the Void.
Does not
And
help
the
against
Embers.
Sunstrike.
Yeah, and the Ember is also going for BKB. So they're gonna hit this triple BKB timing, I would say, in the next couple of minutes, another 5 minutes. Probably not gonna be able to abuse the Aegis with the BKB. It's more like a farming Aegis. Maybe they get this tier 1 with this Aegis, just one more tower. I don't think they're gonna get anything more.
Now Hokori are the ones still kind of looking for something. This is also going to kind of make the Mars feel a little bit more kind of shut out from this game, right? He's gotten killed twice mid lane consecutively. Then he finally gets the Blink Dagger online, only for Infamous to then take Roche. Like, what is he gonna do for this? I guess they look for pickoffs. Is it?
Yeah, most likely split push with the Sunstrike.
Is under attack.
You can kill the supports.
There goes the tier 1 tower.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, I think they should smoke and sweep the map right now on Infamous. They should try to reclaim the bottom area.
Can we draw on
Going
the
for
map
the
again?
tier.
We can't.
Sorry?
I was wondering if observers can draw on the map again if they fixed that in Spring Clean,
me?
but they didn't.
Oh yeah, you can't draw. Yeah, shit.
Well, I can draw like here, but I can't draw on the mini map. Used to be able to.
Radiant's top tower is
Oh.
under attack.
But it'll be hard to see though wherever you're drawing. Oh, it was Hokori who's the one gonna smoke and fight at top. They have Chrono up. They have everything up. BKB. Void has BKB. That's why they want to fight.
Oh, Smoke's gonna break. Alone's gonna actually hit him with the Searing Chains. And oh, what is this? Solskjaer and LumiEre feeling quite confident. They'll even
high
start
ground.
shoving in and ringing the doorbell. Going up to the high ground. Here's the Mars. He's very big because he's bloodlusted. Has a Blink Dagger. Is going to find the spear now onto the Jug, and it looks like that's going to be his first life.
Dead.
Indeed
Second
it is.
time
Yuma
chrono.
has a Chrono for the second, and they have no save for him.
Nice
BKB is
BKB.
going to allow him to completely ignore the DK. No Dragon Tail stun for you. And through the duration of the Chrono Spirit, they 100-0 the Jug on his second life. That's a stolen Fireball. It's a Venn diagram of fireballs there, as the spear is going to cancel the TP away from Axel.
Okay,
Yuma
GG.
jumping in
That's it.
is going to assist in the kill. Is that really GG?
Oh.
Why do you sound so certain?
That was a very huge turnaround in the game with the Aegis going on the Jug. And because with this fight win, it means that the Void is he has probably bought himself like another 10 minutes of the game to go on. I don't think the game will end anytime soon. And once he gets once he gets one more item, it'll be really hard for the Jug to outcarry him.
Okay. But WinteR, they kept the Ember alive, right? Ember's still kind of building as a core. Sure, didn't have BKB in that fight. But does Hokori, that is, have to still address the threat of this Ember as he continues to scale?
I mean, I feel like none of them gonna outscale the Void later on. They have to try to have some, later in the game. I would say that the way they're gonna win the fights is like maybe some E-Blades on the Chrono, but then the SeekNStrike is still gonna hit you.
Yeah,
but it's gonna help against the Void.
That's still a concern. I'm just saying because I don't think the way that Ember Spirit has been played, and typically him as a hero, right? He's not ever gonna be too close to the Jug, and I should say probably not gonna get caught in a Chronosphere with Jug, right?
Yeah, that's true. But then again, I think this smoke is really smart as well because the Chrono is on cooldown.
Cooldown.
So this is kind of like their very important chance right now. They still have this chance to go for high ground. There's no Chrono to defend. There's only the Mars Arena and the Invoker.
Mars Arena though was enough to kill LumiEre last time. This time, though, they know where Yuma's going to be hiding out. There's the Mars Arena. They're going to try and rescue him, and he gets off the BKB and the Time Walk, despite being soulbound. Now they're going to jump back onto the DK, who has been left high and dry by his team, as LumiEre will simply Blade Fury through the walls of the arena. Telekinesis has now caught Axel, as the Kiss is now raining down death and destruction. That's going to be Infamous looking to try and turn, and they have at least dispatched of Yuma. Mars able to arm the toggle to safety, even as Alone goes for a second Sleight of Fist. That leaves Theo in the corner a bit of an awkward spot, but a good steal there on the spin means that he's magic immune. And is not going to be bothered by Infamous, who now are leaving the high ground without getting... Well, they have gotten the tier 3 tower. Telekinesis with the spear. Yes, it's all there, and he finds him, actually catches him all the way back to the barracks. LumiEre is now completely alone. A spin gets him out of the ice wall, trying to TP on back. They lack the right-click damage, and without the Faceless Void, cannot cancel the TP. Still, though, WinteR, it's 3 dead, only exchange for the position 1 Void and the tier 3. Is that worth it for Infamous?
Not really worth it, but I felt like they didn't have the choice as well. They feel like if they don't abuse this timing, this is kind of like their last ditch effort. If they don't use this timing, the Void is just gonna be too strong. And I feel like I like how the Void played that fight. He didn't have Chrono, but he still went in with the BKB so that he's soaking up damage, he's not distractions, and his teammates are able to do damage in the fights as well. Like I kind of feel like that's pretty important for them in the previous fight. Without Chrono, but he's still useful.
I think I want to reframe my question, right? Maybe not worth it, but has this done enough, taking that tier 3 tower and killing Yuma? Has that done enough to kind of get them back into the game? Have they stabilized, or are things still looking pretty bad?
It's still pretty bad considering the drafts. Okay. They have a more early game oriented lineup, and they are 5k behind right now, so that's bad.
That is bad, especially because there's now Ag Scepter online for Analog. So normally when you start discussing net worth and you go, oh, well, the Hand of Midas is there, so it's a little bit of fake net worth. Now it's starting to finally pay off here. Alongside that, Vessel Invoker having a secondary item. And of course, they have all the setup they need with a Chronosphere to not only set up for Cataclysm, but basically guarantee it.
They're gonna need Aeon this at some point.
And this, not really anything else that's going to save you from that. Something like 1200 pure damage once Invoker has Ags and maxed Exort, which he does now.
Haven't seen too many Aeon this nowadays. The item has been, kind of left in a corner. Most people don't really buy it anymore.
think it's a very high value Aeandis this game though, right? Certainly against the Faceless
Yeah,
Void.
for this game in particular, I think it's definitely useful.
Okay, Ember Spirit has a fresh 9-second BKB,
Is under attack.
as does the DK. They are playing now into this dual BKB timing. Jug, of course, not really BKB builder, given that he's got the Blade Fury. And they will find Theolacor at the very least.
Yeah, they have to try to, you know, force things around, try to pressure. I mean, they're not gonna win the game by farming. They have to try and fight, be aggressive, you know, keep their hopes up.
So this may be a good catch. They did at least, well, they committed kisses, but they pick up the kill on a 1 as Alone's gonna pop BKB.
Wow, he
They cancel the
BKB?
TP there.
He BKB
Did.
for the kill.
Did BKB for the kill. I suspect they just maybe he was expecting more counter initiation, but now that it's
Yeah.
a 3v5, maybe Infamous they smoke and sweep the map yet again. I think if they can continue, you know, and really rev up the RPMs on this feed train that Hokori are currently running, perhaps they will get themselves back in the game. What's their move now? Roche isn't up.
Dire's top tower is under
I think wait for Skadi. Jug is about to finish his Skadi. That is maybe level 20, and the Roche is gonna be the next important thing. To have a chance in the game, they have to be able to secure Roche on Infamous.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be a 40-second Roche time respawn timer, and that fire will at least have kisses by then. Of course,
By the way, the
Hokori-
Void has Lincolns. The Void has Lincolns right now. It's a pretty big item.
Yep. DK stun, Phantom's Embrace.
Soulbind.
Soulbind, yep, that's a good one. That's about it, right? That's all they have. Any targeted items here that I'm missing since we're paused?
It's mostly for the DK stun.
Yeah, mostly for the DK stun. I was just kind of listing things that can actually proc it, which is not many, right?
Nope. Not many spells that can proc it.
He can still be soulbound if he's the secondary target of the
Yeah.
soulbind. So I think
Yep.
kind of an important note. I seem to.
Let's see. So the Invoker is building a blink next. That's nice. Helps a lot with trying to avoid the DK initiations, getting to the supports. I mean, he just needs to make sure that he's alive in the fights to cast the Sunstrike during Chrono. But they're going for the Roche. They don't see it, right? I don't think they saw it. There's no wards around.
I don't
This is
believe
huge.
they did either.
This is huge.
I mean,
bad
this is,
news.
there's so much vision right now for Hokori, and this is lovely, isn't it, for a Faceless Void? He can kind of jump in Chrono with a lot more confidence.
getting the
as
shot?
down goes the Roche.
Who's getting the shot?
Probably
Void?
Faceless Void? Yeah, I was about to say. I could make a strong case here for potentially Rubik, especially now that you can... Well, I think you can just straight up steal, actually, the Fireball. In fact, we've seen him do it already a couple of times this game. But perhaps maybe the Mars one, Ogre Magi... Not so strong this game.
Ogre already has his.
Ah, fair enough. Then he doesn't need it then, right? He pays for it himself. He's a support. Horus get the things for free. They have such a difficult life, don't they, WinteR?
Dire are scanning.
Yeah. I mean, how can you complain? They say wards are free right nowadays. You can't complain.
You can't complain. You when you die in TP, when you die and I ask you to refill my bottle, you have no right to complain. You get a TP for free anyway.
It's like with the new changes, you're getting more towards the true slave, you know, rather than before. Before you could always say that I have no money for TP.
Well, I think before it was even worse because before you'd have your allies asking you to drop TPs for them in the fountain, and you would.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
I think that was probably the worst thing.
Don't even remind me. Then the 2 tangos at the start of the game.
Remember when it was 3 tangos?
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah,
Sad
it
times,
used.
man.
Top tower
Yeah,
is under attack.
it used to be not fun for a while playing support. You really. That's why Ice Frog gave us so many things now. That's why it's such a support-friendly meta. It wasn't always like that.
Dire's
Is he a support player? At
Who?
heart? That's what
Ice
you're
Rock?
saying? Ice Rock?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Gaben for sure isn't. He's an offlaner. Sand King's his favorite hero.
He understands our pain. And now, Yuma going for this high ground with the Aegis.
Yeah.
3 minutes
With
more on the
Aegis.
clock.
Infamous are going to smoke and look from behind, but again, Yuma, bolstered now by that Alacrity and the Bloodlust, is doing some serious building damage. That, of course, they want to go for top
120
first
attack speed now.
to neutralize
Chrono.
here. And Loku's in position to break the smoke. It's Theolacor. He even gets the blink away. Oh, WinteR. Now the counter initiation. They've caught alone. EMP burns all of his mana. There's going to be the Cataclysm as if they needed more damage. And why not? Oscar doing a good job here onto the two backlines as alone right back in the fight. But they've caught him with the Chronosphere. The meatball on top is more than enough damage. Oscar gets off this BKB, but he's going to die shortly after to the bashes. As now, after the dieback of the Ember, they've caught Lumiere. His spear to the walls of the arena. He does at least get off the Omni Slash. Good damage on the Yuma, but he time walks it off. And that's now a dead Juggernaut. Gardic is landing the stuns there. They will get Axel as well. Double buyback from what's left in the tank here from Infamous. Might just commit the triple buyback now as Oscar as well as Axel both buy back, but that was a costly fight here for Infamous.
Yeah, but not much. I felt like not much they can do anymore because the Void is too strong, and they with the Aegis it's like the nail in the coffin. You know, the previous high ground push at top lane, it was more like the game was really kind of like half lost. But with the Aegis, I think the game is pretty much just over.
And now with the sustain as well that Analog has, giving himself the Vessel Charge instead of Vitali, even though with the Quas Orbs he has 23 regen, but it's okay. Who needs HP on your Mars? They are going to go up towards the high ground. This could be at least a second lane of Bear. It's going to be hard for them to get the Megas in this duration, though, given that there's a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. So Yuma says, how about tier 4s instead, guys? Oh, there's the little slide whistle. Showing that one off. Very useful for applying time dilation, which he's kept at level 2, by the way, using to max the stats. Here, force back Oscar, also disabling the Blink Dagger. Telekinesis is going to throw him further outside. So is that Cookie. In fact, now Yuma going to make the jump. Bash, bash, bash. He can't even get off the stun. And that looks like that will be the 2-0 win for Hokori, who popped the BKBs in celebration, erect the arena, and destroy the Ancient. Infamous fall in 2.
What a game, what a game. I think the Void played, like, the tri lane, I felt like the early waves, he did a good job, like, controlling the wave, and I think overall, he was able to get a decent start, and then after the laning phase, I felt like the overall movement, like, what he was doing with his chronos and how he was playing the game. Like, I always mention that the carries, right, nowadays, the modern carries, they have to be able to get rich with your team. You can't just get rich alone, and I felt like he was doing a good job helping his team defend the towers and fight with the chrono. So I felt like he was the standout this game.
Yeah, especially those early fights. That sure the decision of Infamous to push up high ground there with that first Aegis. I think I see why the team would be pressured to go up there like that, and even on the second push without Aegis, it seemed a bit more successful. But you know, if you can kind of recall, like what went wrong there, was Infamous in the wrong to push up high ground with Aegis, considering that Yuma did have the Chronosphere available? Was that in retrospect a little bit of a mistake?
I think not really though. I just think that he got into a position where he got killed way too quickly, and they didn't have to use chrono for that. And then you're just gonna die the second life. And because of the draft, they have this timer, you know, at the back of their mind. They cannot just allow the Void to farm, and I think it's the right decision for them to push at that point, even though they didn't have the BKBs on the Ember and the DK, just the Aegis on the Jug. But it was the right time for them to push the high ground and try to stop the speed push, because Hokori was doing a really good job farming the whole map, clearing the waves, you know, pressuring them, and they were trying to force them to come back.
Talk to me a little bit then about this try on tri lane. Obviously, Hokori were the big winners out of that. Was there anything Infamous could have looked to do differently there, or were they kind of just locked in because of the way the Mars DK lane ended up panning out?
I think that the tri lane was overall a very, very good decision by Hokori, and for Infamous, it was kind of a bit hard after that, because the wave was pushing. Because Hokori started out 3 heroes at the get-go, if you remember, during the first minute. And then they were able to force Lumiere to cast his spin before the wave even meet. And that actually impacted the lane quite a bit, because after that, they went to the lane and there was a chance to kill Teoliko. And they couldn't kill him because the Jug didn't have spin. But they expanded a lot of their spells and they dove past the crit wave and they messed up the crit wave. And the crit wave pushes towards the tower. And after that, the Jug cannot farm already. And the lane was pretty much gone for him.
Right.
And they couldn't pull. Because the Ogre, remember what Gardic was doing? He ran and used his body to block the camp even though he almost died. But because he was doing that, the Jug actually had no game in the lane.
Yeah, I'd also be curious as to see. I think our panel at the ready going to break down that game a little bit more for us, but I'd be curious to hear what their thoughts are. And of course, Alone doing a little bit better in the lane, and his rotation's not panning out. But with that, I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Avo Plus, Estini, and Duster as they just break down the series a little bit more for you guys.
Thank you for that, Richie. As we finish the series today, we will be having an interview shortly. Before we get into that, Astini, you supported Hokori twice. You're winning this panel currently. What made you so confident in this game number 2 for them?
They had better mental game. Like after how they played well the first game, like everything was on point. The way they fight is amazing to see. And what I said, like on the break, when I was working with them, like they are by far the team with the better work ethics I ever worked in my life. Those guys, they try hard so much, they take everything so serious that I think it's a very deserved win for them.
That's a really nice sentiment, Astini. Duster, you were unconfident in the Juggernaut. Do you feel like those feelings were warranted after seeing that game?
I actually like Jug in this game, to be honest. But the first Aegis push was so weird, in my opinion. The second one almost worked. They actually managed to kill Void, but if they had Aegis on that second push, could have been a lot different, probably. So I don't know. I think Jug's the hero that allows you to do this YOLO play, but didn't work. I think it was too soon.
Do you feel like they seemed a little bit pressured or desperate on the Infamous side, like as WinteR mentioned in the cast?
They were, but I don't think they should be. Once they got Aegis, they could have played the map a bit better before they tried, like maybe force the Chrono somehow and then go high ground with the Aegis. The way they did it was just too rushed.
Yep, I think that's a bit of the story of the game, but we're going to have to hear from the winners now as Andal... Oh, well, never mind. Just as I spoke, his PC just crashed, so it's okay. We're gonna stall a little bit longer. Tell me how it feels in that situation, Duster, as a player, when you're playing and you know you're... Because we talk about this a lot. I don't care. We talk about this a lot, and many times we talk about the players like playing a bit too pressured, a bit too rushed. Have you ever been in that situation where in the game it feels like you have to end now, but you watch the replay afterwards and you realize you had much more time? Mm. I like that you make that point, by the way, because just a reminder to you Infamous fans, the old Infamous, Axel was the drafter, but he was not the in-game captain. That was Papita the whole time. And now Axel is forced to take both roles, and it might seem that he doesn't have as much experience as the in-game captain. But someone who is definitely celebrating right now, who's not rushed, that's going to be Analog, the mid laner from Hokori, and we have an interview with him right now. Hey, Analog, how's it going? Can you hear me? I don't know how to get them to. Analog, I think. Can you hear me? Okay, we're gonna get him to put his headset on. That is a difficult part, guys, of the interview process. So we do apologize for that. But once his headset is on, hey, Analog. Hey,
hello.
Hello,
I'm live. Okay. I'm sorry.
You are live. Yes. No,
I was watching the stream like, okay, like, where's my interview?
It's been a long time coming, man. It's been a long time. I'm really happy to have you here, Analog. Usually the panels are not biased, but I think today we showed a little bit of bias for your team. We are big fans of your work ethic. I think you guys... I mean, you know, right? I remember talking to you like 6 months ago, telling you I'm glad that you're still on the team now, or you went back into the team. How has the journey been for you, Analog, man? You've been in and out of Hokori so many times at this point. What is this iteration? What is different now? What is working for you guys?
Well, like I'm joining the record season. I was sure the team was way better. Like
Mhm.
I like play with guys like the Gardic and Vitali. We already play for a year together,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
also I like the Dota of Yuma and bringing Cholikor with me. I think it's a upgrade, and I'm very happy with the team. Like we're working a lot. We are together for like just. Uh, 1 month right now, 1 month for a week, and we're working a
Mhm.
lot. We're improving a lot. We're learning so many things in screens and in the week training. So yeah, we hope we're gonna improve way more, and that's it. I'm happy with our results by far right now.
Astini was harping because he worked with you guys. Well, not you specifically, but the team last season, right? And he was telling us about how great the work ethic Hokori have. Can you give us a bit of insight into how the preparation and the practice goes for the team?
Yeah, like with Fastini, he already coached me when I was in
Yeah.
crewmates, and I really liked his coach. And I
Mhm.
tried to bring him to Hokori in the season I was in Hokori, and we had some problems with the language, these things, but he comes. And after that, I just goes to Noping, and I don't have the opportunity to him again. But I think he did a good job with the guys because they improved in so many things outside of the game, like the way to think
Mhm.
the game, the macro gaming, etc. And right now we are without coach, but I learned a lot in besides we going like the Noping team going to second division, etc. I a lot in scene because have so much experienced players like KJ, Licor, Hedmanguzu that goes to die, is a very good coach as well. And I'm trying
Yeah.
to, me and Chodikor are trying to pass this information for the team and also learn new things that they're learning with Astini in this team and finding out our own style to play the game. And it's been doing well. Like we're working a lot and it's doing a lot. We're improving a lot.
Is it satisfying to see this improvement?
Yeah, for sure. Like the series was important series for us in terms of deciding like or going to or start the points to the major or fighting first to stay in the division. But we have so
Yeah.
much to improve yet. Like we're just 1 month together, and we have so much to improve, and we gonna keep the pace.
Yeah. Analog, I want to ask about the language barrier you talked about. How do you communicate with the team? In what language?
Yeah, like in the first time I played in Hokori like 1 year ago, they like don't understand me as uh, at all. But right now they understand a bit of the Portuñol, like Portuguese with Spanish,
Yeah.
and I was used to talk Spanish after I leave the team because we played only 1 year together, and I was comfortable with Spanish, and then I leave it and played with a team that just talk English, just speak English the whole match, and I got a bit rusty in Spanish, but since I'm here in Peru, and I'm with the guys, like it's helps a lot with the language barrier, and my Spanish is very good right now.
That's a great example. Thank you, Analog. Could you give me a typical phrase in Portuñol? I really would like to hear it. What is something that like combines both in a game? What is a Portuñol phrase you might say in a game?
Meu Deus, velho, olha esse weon, que hace?
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, for those that don't speak either Portuguese or Spanish, he spoke in Portuguese and said like "my God," which is the meu Deus, right? And then he proceeded to like target someone, calling him a huevon, like that guy, right? What is he doing in Spanish as well? That is so cool. I am so glad you shared that. Thank you, Analog. Now,
Yeah.
I want to ask
Buy
you
this
as
phrase
well.
in the next supporters club from Hokori.
Yes, indeed. Buy the Hokori supporter pack. I'm also part of it, so please do buy it. I want to ask you
Lawyers.
as well about something that your CEO told me. Maybe you can give me some insight. So I was talking to your CEO recently, and he said that the team after Astini was looking for someone that's more of an analyst than a coach because you guys are very confident in your drafts now, and you want someone that is helping you but not deciding the drafts for you. Is this true, by the way, or was your CEO just joking with me?
Yeah, like I think a core analyst will always help a team. Like
Mhm.
on more head thinking is way great, and we're looking for like if you the thing is here in our region it's very hard to have a coach. Like it's
Yes.
our I don't know. I worked with two, and I play for years, so I don't ever saw any of other coach as well. Like had Monster that did in Biscos, and besides
Mhm.
him, I don't know anyone like besides Astini, Manguza, and Head Monster. So I think it's very hard to find this hole in the team,
Mhm.
and it's more. It's easier to find out analysts. That's the
Okay.
point, I think.
All right. So it's more about what's available in your region than about what you guys want, right?
Yeah, like yeah. If I
Okay.
have like
Uh,
Child 8 available, yeah, I would prefer a
yeah.
coach
Okay.
besides an analyst. But
Right. That makes sense. Can you tell me as well about the like your team is an up and comer per se. You're hardworking, right? Do you feel like the org, Hokori, is shares your values? Because I know they're also a smaller org. They're also very hardworking, from what I've seen. Do you feel comfortable with an org like this?
yeah, like in both sides, like Hokori is not the biggest org of the world, but I feel comfortable in any environment. I think it just depends of the player, how he sees the
Mhm.
Dota, how he sees his the professionalism and the discipline, and yeah, it's fine in the both ways. I like the both ways to work. Just depends of the player.
Okay. Fair enough. As we say goodbye to the interview, thank you so much for your time, by the way. Any shout outs you'd like to give to your fans or anyone, honestly?
Yeah. First em português, galera, valeu quem apoiou aí, valeu quem tá torcendo pra Hokori, valeu quem assistiu os jogos. In English, thanks for everyone that cheered for us, was watching the games and watching the streams. So and everyone for the good comments as well. And in Spanish, chicos, obrigado pelo apoio, graças por todo, e vamos para a próxima partida. Creio que podemos seguir sendo uma boa temporada dessa vez e go Hokori. Não
Oh
vamos
my god,
relaxar, não vamos relaxar. That's the thing.
that Spanish is really good. You have really gotten better. That's very impressive. Great job, Analog.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you.
can I ask you as well, if I'm because your team being a lot of newcomers now starting to gain some steam, what do I say in Twitch chat if I want to support you? Do you have a war cry or something to support you, Analog? What is your key phrase?
Yeah, go Hokori.
Simple. Go Hokori. You guys got it. That's what you spam in Twitch chat when this team is winning. Once again, congratulations, Analog. Fantastic victory. And I hope to get you here again as well. Good luck in the rest of the league.
Thank you, Avu. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Goodbye. I apologize for the long interview, but I've been waiting to interview Hokori for so long. I'm so glad I got to talk to Analog for a while. And as you guys see, the guy literally learned the language in a year. That is so impressive. We just glossed over that fact as if that's normal. But he learned Spanish in a fucking year, and he speaks it almost better than me at this point. Wow. Any closing thoughts, Astine? I know you're a big fan of the team, so give me some uplifting speech about Hokori. I would like to hear about what you think about the team in general.
I mean, they've lost to the first place of the last season, and they just beaten the second place of the last season. So that's what Analog mentioned. They are fighting for the major spot now. So very excited to see their next matches.
Duster, I'm going to give you the hard job this time. I want something uplifting about Infamous. They have lost to Hokori, but they already won against Infinity. Something you really liked about their game, something you think they still do well, that you'd like to see in the rest of the league.
They just changed 2 players, so they need some time to get going.
You have to unmute yourself first before you say that.
Oi, blядь. Yeah, they just changed 2 players. They need some time to get some synergy together, but I like the YOLO plays. Honestly, I really like the push they did with the Juggernaut. It's something very unexpected that might catch a lot of teams off guard. They just need to get a bit more discipline, and they can do an even better yellow place. But excited to see their team also with their changes.
Thank you for that, Duster. And for those of you at home, this is the end of the broadcast for today. We do come back tomorrow, though, with two more SA games. So we do recommend that you tune in. There's going to be some exciting matchups then. We will start 3 hours earlier. The best way to know when we're online is just to follow this channel, and then you get all the beautiful panels with Astini and Duster. You get the content pieces, you get these interviews, everything exclusive for you from the SA crowd. If you guys are interested in, of course, watching more SA Dota, you can also follow us on Twitter at ePulse Gaming, and there we post whenever we are live. And I do recommend that you do, because Hokori is just one of many stories, much like Infamous, of these kind of Cinderella stories that are coming from the region. There's so much untapped potential in SA, and we're just barely starting to see it blossom. And if you want to join us on that journey, we'll be happy to take you on. My name is Avo Plus. I've been joined here by the wonderful Astini and Duster for this series, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with some more Dota 2. Until then.